So, welcome to the channel. Today we're gonna be discussing chapters, 1041 to 1043. So the latest chapters. We're gonna be giving our thoughts about the chapters and all the latest events. I guess so. Let's start right now. This is chapter 1041. The cover spread, the cover story. Oh yeah, I know y'all up to date, right? Of course, I don't have to ask that, but y'all up to date. So y'all heard theories, right? Like
Yeah,
theories about. Okay. That's good. For we could
Correct.
have a
I'm
for we
up
could
to
have.
date officially, but I
Yeah,
know what's
yeah,
going on.
yeah.
Going up,
Okay,
going off.
so since have you heard the theory? Since we're in the color story about the Ben Smokes and all that, have you heard the theory that in this scene when Pudding punches the Nijiji and Yonchi, that she altered their memory somehow, or that she's using her devil fruit, and then later on that's going to help them escape. Have you heard that theory?
I have not,
No, I
Okay.
have not.
because nobody's talking about that.
Yeah, no one's talking. At least on YouTube and all that, no one's talking about it. But every now and then, I hear people mention about the theories about what's going to happen during this cover story. Of course, we're hoping to see Karakuri on the cover story. This is probably taking place because some people think that it's taking place like current time. So like while the Wano stuff is happening, this is also happening. But some people like me, I think this is taking place in the past. So this is stuff that already happened. So
I would agree.
yeah,
I would absolutely agree.
yeah. So
Maybe.
like in the next chapter where we're gonna find out that the whole cake chateau is still broken. I'm pretty sure like before Big Mom left, she fixed it. So since it's just a big giant cake, you know. So since here in the cover story is broken, that's why I think it's taking place in the past. So yeah. But yeah, that's just a
And it
theory
would
that I
make
heard.
the most sense,
Yeah.
because most of the cover stories aren't simultaneous, they're in the past.
Yeah.
Like, on
So
very rare occasion, we get a current time cover story.
yeah, I think the only I was gonna say the Straw Hats when they got separate, but like Luffy was doing his thing, and then the Straw Hats, all that was like in the past,
Yeah.
and yeah. Maybe the other one, or maybe one that you could argue that was happening like in current time was the bounty reveal when everyone was seeing Luffy's bounty, and like Shanks was at a
Yeah.
wedding. Maybe that's like the only one you could argue like, oh, it's happening current time. But yeah, that's just something that I heard was interesting, so I just wanted to share that. Now, let's see, oh yeah, this chapter Kumarosaki. So in this chapter, it's been a while I read this. What happened? Let's see. Oh yeah, so Shunisa's
Same.
here. Momosuke, I'm waiting your orders. Yeah. Shunisa, he arrived to fight in the war. Um, some people are
And
saying
you
that
should shut up to fuck shit up.
yeah. I heard that people are saying that it doesn't make sense that Sunisa is here. Like why he's in Wano without Momo telling him to go to Wano, because it's implying that Sunisa he went there by himself without Momo giving his a order. But you gotta remember Sunisa his penalties to walk, like like just to
Yeah.
walk. So I'm pretty sure he decides where he wants to go. So he's like, oh, let me just walk towards Wano then, and then when I get there, hopefully Momo orders me to help in the war. That's how I perceived it. But that is something that I heard. I don't know if you guys heard that about the Sunisa thing. And then Momo Momo doesn't give any orders if I'm remembering. Nah, he's just pushing the island. It's interesting throughout these chapters. Momo, he's doubting himself as a leader. He's like, we should escape. We should stop the fighting. Protect people and whatever. And then Yamato throughout these chapters, he's like, motivating Momo to now let's continue fighting. I'm getting myself a hell. I'm getting. I'm talking about the late chapter, but in this chapter in 1041, they had that little discussion about about that. Now, this is the conclusion. Finally, the fight is over. Raizo versus what's his name? Fukurokushu is over. And like I said in previous discussion, is a interesting fight because although he could easily have shown like a ninja fight, a epic One Piece ninja fight, but no, he decided to show like their resolve through like them just withstanding the flames. So yeah, just moving on. And also it's interesting in the chapter 1043, Kawamatsu, he mentions that there's no honor in burning alive. And and Raizo, he's like here 31 chapters withstanding the flames. It's interesting the different like opinions that each of the Scabber has, about honor and death and all that. And then here's the namesake of the chapter, Kumarosaki. So, what happened here? Oh yeah, because of the fight, the roof, everything is crumbling. Onigashima is crumbling. I think in one chapter, Kaido mentioned that it will probably take like 5 years, 5 years to rebuild everything again. Like his castle and all that. Him complaining about the crumbling, and then Orochi, he gets what's the word I'm looking for? He gets buried in the rubble, yeah. And then he's like, "Why?" He's like, "Kumarosaki, help me, whatever." And like, "Don't you love me?" And then Kumarosaki, "Love you, you just, sir. I have not the intended affection for you." Also, I didn't mention it, but yeah, I'm using the officials. And the scanlation, Kumarosaki, Momo, all these Wano characters, they talk fancy, but just in the official, everyone talks fancy. But but this basically was like, if I remember, this was like how she talked in the scanlations, all fancy, like because people from Wano, they talk in the old Japanese dialect. So
Yeah.
it was interesting, yeah. So and then yeah, right here, he's complaining that why he cannot transform. Kumarosaki, she revealed that she slid a sea stone nail into him. I don't know how he didn't felt that. I think she just put it in him, like in the clothing, and that's why. So I guess because we don't, yeah, we just cut away from this, so we don't know what's going to happen. But I guess I'm pretty sure you guys heard the theory that either Denjiro, yeah, Denjiro or Zoro, they're going to arrive and defeat Hiyori. But I think Komurosaki, she could do it by herself. She could kill Orochi right now. It just since we cut away, we don't know what happened. What do you guys think? Do you think Denjiro is going to show up, or Zoro, or Komurosaki? She's the one who's going to kill Orochi in like the next couple of chapters.
I mean, the one that deserves it the most is her.
Yeah, that's true.
For like a satisfying kill, I'd be very happy if it was them that did it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it depends. Who's the Susanoo figure in One Piece?
Who's this? That's a loaded question though. That could be anyone. nah, but the Susanoo figure. Well,
Because like Wano has been filled with a lot of Japanese references, like mythological, culturals, and all that. So
yeah,
it would
that's
make
true.
sense. Like if Orochi will be defeated by a Susanoo equivalent.
Yeah, that's true. But right now I'm blanking out who is the Susanoo equivalent. But story wise, Komurosaki and Denjiro, they both have the most weight when it comes to like killing Orochi, delivering the final blow. The reason why people say Zoro is because Zoro in one chapter he mentioned that he wants to kill Orochi himself because he talked with Komurosaki and he got a bond with her and whatever. He's like, oh, I want to kill that Orochi then. But at this point, Zoro, he's knocked out, so I don't think Zoro's gonna do it. So the other two options is Komurosaki or Denjiro, which we haven't seen Denjiro for like 30 chapters. So and what's his name? Raizo. I think Raizo in the next chapter he mentioned that they were planning something. So I don't know what are those plans. We still don't know. So maybe their plans to kill Roshi. I just don't know. But still, Komurosaki is right there, so it's probably gonna be her that kills Orochi. Okay, but even though the chapter is named after her, this is the only time we see her. So in this chapter, Oda does it a lot. I don't know why. Sometimes he names the chapter after one dude, like a one character, and we only see them for like one panel, or like at the end of the chapter. So I don't know why.
Flashback to my
What
bad.
what you said?
Flashback towards the one chapter called Kid and Law versus Big Mom, and was just one panel of the
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah, although those Allah also sometimes with his like versus chapters. But you know, it's something that he does. And then here we get the conclusion of the most of the fight was off screen, but Izo versus CP0, yeah, CP0, and Izo he defeats one, which in this chapter we learn his name, Maha. Yeah, right there, Maha, and we don't know his name yet, the other guy, but in the community, either he's known by Derper Scarfino or Blue Scarf. Those are his names. Yeah, yeah, Blue Scarf or Derper Scarfino. I prefer.
I'll be honest.
Uh huh.
I'll be honest. I did not think that was his name. I thought that was just there's like a laugh, like how you know
Mhm.
how characters in One Piece have their
Yeah,
own
yeah,
unique laugh,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
go, ma, pika pika
Uh
pika.
huh. Yeah, I get. Uh, we don't know if that's his name. It just he's like no damn you Izo, and then he yells Maha. So we're assuming that's his name. So that's like the only time like we just assuming that. So he's probably dead. I don't know. You know how old I'll be. But it'll be cool if all of this kills off because in the next couple of chapters we find out that yeah, we get there when we get there. But I don't know. Let's see if he's dead. But the running theory is that these CP0 Asians, or at least Maha and the other guy, they're kids from Big Mom Flashback. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in one video. Yeah, yeah. Because of the design and designs all that. We don't know those kids' name, so him saying Maha doesn't confirm or deconfirm the theory. So Izo is also dead. Well, Izo also got tagged, and it sucks it sucks that we didn't saw the fight, but from what we could tell, Izo by himself was strong enough to defeat one, and the other one he was on the ground. So Izo was pretty strong,
I mean, Whitebeard's crew for a reason.
Yeah, he was he's Whitebeard 16 commander. Like people were saying, Whitebeard 16 commander disarmed Kaido's first commander. So that's like one of his biggest feats. And also this right now him defeating the CP0 agent. Now this moment is hilarious. Well, Durple Scarf, he gets a call from the other CP0 agent, and he's like, "Yo, listen." He's like, "Listen closely. The five elders have issued a edict. Fancy words." And I'm like, "What is an edict?" He's like, "The five elders eliminate Straw Hat Luffy at once," and the dude starts sweating.
Yeah, the memes are going crazy.
Like, he's like, "What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Straw Hat is fighting Kaido right now. You want me to interfere with Kaido battle? What?
Yeah,
That's impossible."
did we fucking stutter?
The other guy did I stutter? But yeah, it's hilarious. The dude, he's like sweating.
Dude couldn't catch a fucking break, dude. I'm just one man looking ass.
Yeah, he's like, "This is above my pay rate." I'm like yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. But this
Poor bitch.
Yeah, but this kind of like fuel to the fire that Luffy's devil fruit is the devil fruit that they were talking about. But there's also the people. There's also fuel for the people who think Shanks is evil. So Shanks was talking. Shanks was talking to the girls say about Luffy. Those are the crowd that thinks Shanks is evil. So they're like, Shanks he snitched on Luffy. They're like, he told to the girls say kill Straw Hat now, whatever, and blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't think Shanks is evil, so I don't support that. But I do support that that Luffy is the devil fruit that they were talking about because of recent chapters.
You do.
Yeah. And then Drake, he comes back, and he's like, like, I'm not going out without a fight. Basically, that's what he says.
He should. He really should. He should just lay down and pretend he's fucking dead.
Yeah, but in the next chapter we see that he actually he attacked the CP0 Asian. But this is an update on Usopp and everyone. Update on Frankie getting Zoro. He's like yelling, "You ain't dead." Something I just noticed right now. Zoro's eyes are black out, so that means he's probably dead.
Oh yes, of course.
Because you know when I will explain more once we get to the Luffy stuff. But looking at this now, yeah, I think he's actually dead. But
yeah, oh god, straight up.
It's just I heard some stuff. These past couple of weeks, and I'm like looking at Zoro right now. I'm like, yeah, he's probably dead. I don't know what Oda's gonna do really, but let's see. And then
deliberation, I'm not coming for him.
We getting an update on the rest of the characters. Nami, Marco, they're fine. What else? What's this? The Heart Pirates and Kid Pirates, they're celebrating because they defeated Big Mom. They're the captains. And then we go to the rooftop. And then we see a little bit more of the fight. The roof piece. And then Kaido, he's crying because Lin lost the fight. He cannot believe it. Luffy's like Jaggy and Traffy won. That's amazing. And the scanlation, I think Luffy just says I forgot. Luffy only mentions one name in the scanlation, if I'm correct. And the people are like, they were complaining like, why Luffy is only praising one character when they both fought. But in the official, they fixed that. Speaking about official fixing something, Nami in the in the scanlation, she's like, Law and that other guy defeated Big Mom. And
the bias is real.
And then the Kid fanboys, they want Kid and Nami to be together. She's like, I guess Traffy and the other guy beat Big Mom. Yeah, I meant to say in the official she says that. I got mixed up. But yeah, it's hilarious.
Kid fanboys in shambles.
No, yeah. I follow one and he was in shambles. He's like, no way, this cannot be. This cannot be. He did a thread. He did a thread about why Kid and Nami should be together. This was before this chapter. So he did a thread.
The first tweet, cocaine.
Yeah. So he did a thread. It was a very short thread. I think like 1 or 2 tweets or whatever about why Nami and Kid should be together. And he said that Kid since he ate the magnet fruit. Nami, she's a navigator. So Nami's compass will always point. Oh my god! Nami's compass will always point towards Kid. That's all he said. That's basically what.
That's generally really cute, but like, please stop the crack.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I thought his logic was gonna be, Kid could be like her metal detector and get all her bitches for her.
I think he did mention that. Not sure. I know he went with the route that he's a magnet, and since he's the navigator, her compass will always point towards him. That was basically the gist of it. But moving on. It's nice to see Kaido flashback. He remembers his meeting with Big Mom. Big Mom says, "You got a mouth on your Kid. Hello, can you speak?" And then she's like, "Mama, how old are you?" And then, "Only 15. You're so young. Is this your first time teaming up with Rocks? Don't trust him. He's a scoundrel." I forgot what she said in the translation, but she said something else. I think it was like a troublemaker, a good for nothing. Yeah. The reason why I mentioned that is because some people are saying that some people think that Roxy's evil, but other people think that Rox was actually good, and he was fighting for a good cause. And the reason why people are like, oh, she called Rox a good for nothing, or like a scoundrel, or whatever, but that doesn't mean he's evil, because she calls Luffy a good for nothing. So maybe it's like all the subverting our expectation, and maybe Rox was actually good, and he was fighting for a good cause. But anyway, Big Mondo says you should not trust in him, but so that supports the theory that he's actually not good. But still, it could go either way.
She could just have beef with him.
She goes because she asked, "Is this your first time teaming up with Rox?" So that's implying that it's not like Rox maybe Like the ocean movies that like Ocean 11 and all those type of movies that they get a bunch of people, they do a plan, and then they dip. So maybe Roxy's like that. He gets a bunch of pirates, they do like a plan, they steal stuff, and then they dip. And then Roxy is constantly doing that. So maybe that's how Roxy handles his crew. But
So you're telling me that Rox,
mhm.
instead of being an actual pirate captain, he just plans heists.
That'd be sick though.
Yeah, basically that's one theory I heard, that Roxy, he was a pirate, but he planned his stuff. He got a bunch of strong people. He did the thing, and then whenever he wanted them to help out again, he just called. It's like, hey, do you want to do this? And they're like, yeah, sure. And that's like the running theory I heard about how Roxy handled his crew. But yeah, it's really cool. And so he was really strong. He was really strong enough to get all these pirates together. So that's also talks about his strength and all that. But yeah, you love to see a young Big Mom. We're already seeing Big Mom like young. This is her in 22, because although he drew her in 22, 42, and current age. So this is her at 22. And then Kaido, he's crying because of the Big Mom stuff because he got defeated. Tears in his
I
beard.
can't believe Kaido was Big Mom's first son. Don't at me.
No,
that bitch adopted his ass.
No, Karakuri, Daifuku, Pearl
No,
Sparrow.
not like birth son.
Okay. No, but they were. I mean, saying they were already born. They were like 4 or 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She still adopted his ass.
Yeah, she basically adopted Kaido. Because in this chapter, I'm pretty sure that either is in this chapter or next chapter, I don't remember, that Kaido's like, yo, we actually do have history. he's like realizing, yeah, you know what? Yeah, he says right here, I know that old hag a long time. We actually have history. This is a new crime mode. Tears in his beer. And the escalation was just like crying drunk. And the official they always give these fancy names for these like drunk mode, but in the translation it's always like simple, like, oh, he is crying drunk. Now I'm in this page right here. You see Luffy in the corner, right?
Losing his religion.
So Luffy, when I read this for the first time, I thought this was a new Gear 4 transformation. I don't know what do you guys thought? Do you thought it was a new transformation, or he is one Snake Man? What do you think?
If anything, that could have been the start of what happens next chapter.
Because he goes Snake Man, as we can see right here. But
he's very wobbly.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. So when I was reading it, I'm like, this looks way different. Like the nose, look at the nose. I'm like, is like what's with Luffy's nose? It looks like a tiger nose. So I thought it was gonna be Tiger Man, like a new Gear 4 transformation. Some people saying that he looks like a boar, like it's like a boar nose. So it was gonna be like a boar man or whatever. But no, next page we learn it's Snake Man. But I got very excited when I was reading this for the first time. I'm like, oh, it's a new Gear 4 transformation. But when you go to the next page, it's Snake Man. And so this is a new attack though, Hydra, Snake Man Hydra. So from what we could tell, it's basically like a Black Mamba attack. That it's like a bunch of punches at the same time or whatever, which is really cool. Someone mentioned that what if Luffy's like Gear 4 attacks with Conqueror's clothing, they're named after a mythical creature. So Hydra, this is Hydra, and then maybe he will have like a Gorgon, a Medusa, what else? Other snake creatures, Basilisk, so on and so forth. And then I guess for Gear 4, he has the King Kong, the Supreme Kong Gun, which we find out in the next chapter, and so on and so forth. The rocks, the red rock. That's also like a mythical creature. So it's interesting how although he's, with the name, you could tell if he's using Conquerors or not with the attack. Also by the sparks and all that. And basically Luffy in this chapter, in this page, he's saying that he's going to beat Kaido, basically. Which we know.
Psych.
We know that didn't happen. But still, when you were reading this, when you read this chapter, you thought Luffy had a chance? Did you thought Luffy had a chance? Or we were like, Mm-hmm.
I thought he had a fucking chance. See, like, I thought this was gonna be his moment. But then Mr. I Can't Mind My Fucking Business came along.
Yeah, but when I was reading this, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is it. Luffy, he's doing it, and then this like always, Luffy he has 3 rounds against the dude, and the third round he wins. But no, as we as we find out in the next chapter, that wasn't the case. So in the next chapter, we continue the cover story. What it says here, take Nijiji and Jonji to the Whole Cake Island. So Alvin, he's taking them to Whole Cake Island. That's about it. we really not like learning anything new here. Yeah, Drake, he stabs CP0 Asian in the back. They're post Scarfino. I really like this moment. So Dripper, he's like, explain yourself, Drake. And Drake says, this is what my justice tells me to do. And Dripper is like, then I am envious of you. Or, in the Scanation, I envy you. And it's interesting because I'm pretty sure the reason why he envies Drake is either he knows that he's Sword. So he envies Drake because Drake, he's going up against the world government, the structure that the world government currently has, and he's going up against it, And Drake, he's basically free. Like Dripper, he's seeing, he's like, oh, Drake, he's free to do his own decisions, So that's why he envies Drake's. Another reason, let's say he doesn't know that he's Sword, so he envies Drake because Drake, he's like, oh, Drake, you're a Marine, now you're a pirate, so now you're free. So same thing. He sees Drake that he's free, so that's what, and he can make his own decision. So that's why he envies Drake. But do you two, when you read this, do you capture that, the subtext, or you're like wondering why does he envy Drake? I want to know.
If anything, go on.
No, ladies first.
Yeah, my thing is that maybe he's just envious of how much will to live this fucker has. Because he could have stayed down and not kept fighting.
Yeah, true. But
because it could certainly be like that deep, but it could also just be like, look at this man getting up again when he could have just laid down and stayed dead.
True. And what about you, Leo?
I mean, I was gonna say, like I would be envious too. Like, oh, we have Drake here, being free, like you said, like not having to follow like the orders of CPO, and then and then we have this dude here that's gonna have to like risk
fucking life,
basically for minimum wage.
Yeah. This is above his pay rate right now. What he's about to do. Yeah. But it's interesting though. It's interesting. Like when I read it, I'm like, it has to, like it has to be that, like, or like it's interesting that all the subtleties between their conversation. But anyway, CP0 guy, this also shows how strong he is. Drake stabs him in the back, but he escapes and does a Shigon and then attacks Drake, and then he still has energy left to go to the roof and stop the fight, but that's later down the line. But still, we cut away from this, so we don't know if Drake is dead. Remember, like I mentioned in a couple videos, Drake, he's the 1% man.
Yep.
So, but knowing Oda, he's probably going to survive this. But still, Oda, he's really trying his damn best to kill Drake, but he keeps coming back and back. But that's also because he's a mythical Zoan. So that's because of his regeneration abilities, So, but still, we cut back to the Fire Festival. We just get an update on them. They're sending the lanterns right now. We see Otoko. It's been a while we've seen her, but that's about it, I think. Yeah, that's about it. And then the rest of the chapter is just Luffy versus Kaido. Like
Nice.
In theory.
Yeah, in theory. But yeah, it's a really good fight. Luffy, he's doing his best. He's doing his best, but still we know the outcome. But still, there's some interesting stuff though during this fight. Kaido, he mentions that Rubber should not be able to do this. I wonder. I wonder why. This is not the first time that villain has mentioned this. Don Flamingo way back when Don Flamingo did kick Luffy, my favorite scene. I always me and my brother when we talk about One Piece, I always try to bring up this scene because it's my favorite moment in this Rosa, where Luffy punched Don Flamingo for the first time, and then he sends Don Flamingo flying, and then a random dude and Dressrosa is like, Don Flamingo, what are you doing here? And Don Flamingo is like, I'm asking myself the same thing. And then and then Luffy comes flying, does a Rhino Snyder, kicks Don Flamingo in the face. He continues flying, and then Don Flamingo, he's like, okay, let me kick him with Elite Thread. But then when he kicks Luffy, he's like why my kick is not doing anything? It's like he managed to rubberize his Iron Man hockey. How is he doing this? So that's like the first time that someone mentioned that rubber should not, like, Luffy should not be able to do these things. And then Kaido, he's mentioning here that rubber should not be able to bend like that. How Luffy is doing it, which I never realized. That Luffy, he's rubber should not be able to do that. Because in the Karakuri fight,
more elastic than he is bendy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I never thought about it. Like, why Luffy's doing this? Because in the Karakuri fight, he was doing it, but I never paying attention. Like, why is he doing this, or how is he doing this? Someone did mention this was before the new chapter. Someone did mention that, oh, it'd be cool if this is Luffy subconsciously using his awakening, and what is he doing is he's rubberizing the air. So he's like basically bouncing the punches, the punches from the air. Like gentleman from My Hero.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but that was before we found out about the whole, the whole
next chapter.
Yeah, the whole next chapter. But that was interesting, though.
I mean, to be fair, like, I never questioned it personally.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Because all the gears have done like wacky stuff. With the rubber, which I thought like that doesn't make sense for rubber, but I'll let it pass.
I let it pass. Yeah. My I guess was like maybe he's using armor hockey somehow. Like somehow he's using the armor hockey like to bend, like to forcefully bend the punches. But now we know it's because of other shenanigans. But still, it's interesting. Kaido mentioned that, and then we get this. We get the the flirty drunk mode, or the drunken beggar mode in the official. So it's funny. Kaido, he flirts when he's drunk. He's like stop, with the with the heart and everything. And then what the Kaido says? Oh yeah, Kaido says, don't assume you're the only one who can see the future. This confirms that only the top tiers could use future sight. As a Karakuri fan, so that proves that Karakuri, he's a top tier. He's a top tier commander. That's my agenda. That's what I took. I don't know. That's what I took from. Yeah. That's what I took from that sentence. Big Mom, she hasn't shown this ability to see the future, but people were complaining why Kaido is using future sight right now. And then like the way I see it, Kaido, he just haven't fought anyone seriously. like Oden was basically the last person he fought seriously. And then now in this Luffy fight, he's like, you know what? Let me dust out the old future sight. And then he uses it. So here's I saw this tweet. Someone tweeted to the Zoro fanboys that here's the ultimatum. Either Kaido didn't use future sight with Zoro because he didn't saw Zoro as a worthy opponent, or he used future sight and he saw that the dead man game, the Ashura attack, wasn't going to do anything, so he took it. What do you think? What do you think is better?
That's really funny.
What do you think is better? Either he didn't use it, or he did and he saw that it wasn't going to do anything.
Like, this is like that God paradox of making a heavy boulder, but like for Zoro fans. I just love it.
That's so fucking good, though.
Yeah,
both are fine. Both are hilarious.
Yeah, they're both hilarious. But I'm if I was I picked the first option. Like it makes sense he didn't use it. you know, I'll go with the option. Like, it makes sense that he didn't use it against Zoro.
I mean, that makes the most sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, he uses future sight to dodge the attacks. I talked about this with my brother briefly. That we've seen this before. This right here, the thing that Kylo's doing, we've seen it before. Let's see if you guys remember what I'm talking about.
Being drunk.
No, him. You know him. You know how Oda drew him? That he's like, bouncing around the place. He's like, skinny. There's a line, the speed lines and all that. So the thing that I'm referring to, which this is a stretch. I admit. I'm tinfoil hat right here. But
Okay.
yeah. But the first time we seen Oda drew a character like this is with Rob Lucci. That Rob Lucci was he was like showing off or whatever. I forgot what he was doing. But Luffy was probably in gear second or whatever. And Rob Lucci, he does like this technique that he makes himself like skinnier, kinda, and he goes faster. So I'm saying Kaido, he did kind of the same thing, so that he like made himself a bit skinnier, for that way he could like easily maneuver his way from the Snake Man attack. You know, I don't know. That's just me. Like, I guess, like, trying to make some connections here, because someone's are just weird. Someone's are
They
just
really
weird.
are.
Yeah, they really are. And other people are saying, some people are saying something different. Some people are saying that Kaido, he didn't transform completely. So like his lower legs are human, while his upper body is a dragon, and so he's like mid transformation, and he's like trying to dodge everything, swiftly, like with that mid transformation. I don't know. That what most people are saying, but I'm going with my route. That Kaido, he's like, because someone's are just weird like that. He's just shrieking himself and do that, But anyway, he gets Luffy. He bites Luffy, and then there's a nice double face spread of him like getting Luffy going up, and then he does a board breath and he sends Luffy down. And then we're seeing people's reaction to the board breath. The light floor, Yamato and Momo, we're seeing their reactions, and this is just a really cool scene. I can't wait to see this anime. But this is the first time that the board breath. Well, I guess not the first time, but at least during this fight, that this is like the first time that the board breath does something to Luffy, because before, like, there's one point. It's a pretty funny scene. I don't know if you remember, but there's a moment that Luffy, he goes gear fourth, and he's about to like punch Kaido, and Kaido does a board breath, and then before this, Big Mom attacked Luffy with electricity, or at least everyone, and Luffy, since he's rubber, he's okay. So Big Mom's like, how do you survive that? He's like, because I'm rubber. And then Kaido does the board breath, and Luffy tanks the attack, and Kaido's like, do you survive that because you're rubber? And Luffy's like, no, guts. So that's because my guts. So this is the first time that the board breath actually does something to Luffy. You could say maybe because he's tired, or maybe because Kaido, he used a little bit more strength in this breath. But still, it's a really cool thing. I guess there's not much to say here. And then what happened here? Luffy, yeah, he goes down, and then he goes to Bound Man. This is the first time that we've seen Luffy switches from gear 4 techniques, so like instantly. Some people are arguing that he actually deflated and then he went to Bound Man, but some people are arguing that no, he, like, from Snake Man, he quickly went to Bound Man without deflating. I think he went to Bound Man without deflating, because in this chapter we see him trying not to deflate. So I think, like, if he deflates, he's going to lose the momentum of gear 4 from all that. So yeah,
and he will have to be on cooldown before he activates it again.
Yeah. So that's why I think he, like, quickly from Snake Man he went to Bound Man. So this is the first time this showing that Luffy, he's with the gear 4 techniques, he's improving. But still, as we find out, it's still not enough. But to defeat Kaido, and then he goes back to Kaido. Kaido's laughing a lot. You're coming back, and Luffy, typical Luffy speech that he's fighting against Kaido because if he stays here, the civilians. They want to have water. They want to have food to eat, whatever. And then it's interesting, Kaido. He's like, I think either in this page or the next page, I don't remember. But Kaido, he mentions that the samurai, they're weak, and basically they're weak and whatever, blah blah blah. They're not strong, and his conclusion is that winners, they don't need rationalizations, because Luffy, he says no, the samurai is strong, and then Kaido's like, no, they're weak. Winners, they don't need rationalization. Are you a winner or are you a loser? And it's interesting because what we find out at the end of the chapter, Kaido, he's rationalizing this victory because what we find out. But still, it's really cool. Yeah. Luffy does the over Kongon, and the translation is the Supreme Kongon, which I prefer Supreme over over. But still, it's cool. Supreme Kongon. And then he attacks Kaido. Then Kaido does the Thunder Below Bagua, which from what we could tell is the stronger version of the Thunder Bagua. He's trying to knock out Luffy. He's struggling to get his breath, but he managed to keep the air. There's another new mode, the Bloodthirsty Drunk mode. Remember, I mentioned like a while ago, like in one of the previous video, that Kaido, he was like about to attack Luffy, and he looked like a bulky but fat and whatever, and that the nose was, this is basically it, So maybe at that moment he went like slightly bloodthirsty, but then he went back to normal. So yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, all these mood changes Kaido has reminds me of a certain character from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu Hakusho. I haven't.
Not gonna say who.
Okay.
Not gonna say who because I don't want to spoil, but like he just reminding me of like that characteristic of him reminds me of that character.
Okay.
If it's someone I'm thinking, you might be onto something.
I don't know. So. I don't know.
Now I think about it. Oh crap! You're right. Like, yeah, Molly's onto something. Yeah, okay. I think I might have uncovered something here.
Yeah. If you want to say, if you want
to Juju.
But I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't care about Yuji. You could. Is it a huge spoiler?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And you should care about Juju, so I'm not gonna say it.
Yu Yu Hakusho's really good.
Yeah.
Carry
on.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, sorry, back on topic.
Okay, back on topic. Luffy, he's saying that this is my last attack. He if it doesn't defeat Kaido, this is it. And then here we see the CP right here in the corner. We see the CP0.
Mind your business.
He does Iron Body. He grabs Luffy by the shoulder, and then the last pages, Kaido, he hits Luffy's. Before he hits Luffy, he remembers the olden flashback, and this is a repeat of the olden flashback. Something I'm just realizing something now. This is another reason why to hate the Viz translation. They don't translate the editor notes and the scanlation, like in the corner of every chapter. There's like a little note that the editor writes, and in this case was what's the word? Like an overwhelming of emotions, like a bunch of emotions. Like Kaido, he's being overwhelmed by emotions right now. So I guess that's another reason why to hate the Viz translation. They don't translate the translator notes. But
why would they?
No, because the editor notes are very, like the editor notes, they could give like hindsight.
But aren't the editor's note made by the fan translation?
No, the editor notes. Okay, by editor notes, I mean all those editors' notes. So
shit! I always thought that was like the fan team being like, "Yep, this is my opinion here."
No, because there's some editor notes that is just the fan translation, like this means this, with Biz they don't do that. Yeah. But there's the other editor notes that is always like at the corner of the last page, and it's always in bold text, it's in very bold, and it's like that's all those editors notes like about the chapter. So in this case, like overwhelming of emotions or something like that. like everyone here, they're feeling they're feeling a bunch of emotions right now. CP0 guy, he knows he's about to die.
Oh yeah.
Kaido, he's realizing that, oh crap, this is over and all over again. And Luffy, he's like, well, I just lost. So it's like interesting. The editor notes. So and it sucks that Biz they don't translate that, but whatever.
I just want to add, like, it must suck to be Kaido, because all the serious battles always get interrupted, like, when they're at their climax.
Yup.
One-on-one always
Like,
bet on someone interrupting the fight.
like his reasons to live, like, get shut down so quickly.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's
Can't
sad,
have shit in
but
Detroit.
it's sad and hilarious, But okay, so I heard some theories about when this chapter dropped, that this was actually future sight, that Kaido and Luffy, they saw the outcome, and the next chapter they're going to prevent it. Of course, we know that's not the case, but
That'd be cool as shit, though.
yeah, that would be interesting. But something against that theory was when every time when they use future sight, let me go back a couple of pages. Yeah, every time when someone's using future sight, although he always draws the background black. So like here, Kaido, he's using future sight, and then Luffy versus Karakuri, when Luffy was using future sight for the first time, the background goes black, and he's like seeing the future. But people were saying that's true, that the background does go black, but maybe he didn't do it this time, obviously, for that way you could subvert expectations. But of course we don't know that's not the case. So now let's go to the main event, the recent chapter. So yeah, and then so this is the main event, the recent chapter. Let's face death together. So, and here they Oven and Brule, they arrive at the Whole Cake Island, the Whole Cake Chateau, and as you can see, it's all like broken still. So that's why I think this is happening in the past. But I don't know, maybe it's happening present time. We just don't know. Although he never like gives a time frame for these things. But yeah, we may see Karakuri. I don't know. Hopefully. Do you want to see do you want to see Karakuri?
Yeah.
Yes. That'd be the dream.
Yeah. But and also Cracker. Honestly, I want to know what happened to Cracker. like EC still bandaged up because of the fight against Luffy. Because Cracker weakness was that he cannot withstand pain. So I want to know what Cracker's doing. I want to know what Karakuri is doing. I want to get updates on them. But anyway, moving on to the chapter. So no, it wasn't Future Sight. It actually did happen. And Kaido, as you can see by his face, he's very distraught. He's very sad, probably annoyed, angry, like he's everything. And I really love how Oda in this chapter he drew like Kaido's face. Like you could like just by looking at his face, you could tell all the emotions that he's going through right now. And same thing with the CP0 guy, Durper Scarfino. Like you could tell he's like, okay, I did my job. I did what they ordered me to do, and
they don't pay me enough for this.
And I'm going to die right now. And then Luffy, his eyes are white out, so that means he got knocked. The other CP0 guy, Schoolboy Collins, that's what one guy is calling him. So Schoolboy Collins over here, he's looking up, and then that's
Rest in peace,
see
brother.
him.
Yep.
He's
fucking
R.I.P. Rest in peace, bros.
Yeah, rest in peace.
I miss you.
Yeah. So Luffy, he deflects. Kaido, he's looking up. And one was like, huh? I do not hear Luffy's voice anymore. And there's then the double face spread. Battle on the rooftop. Winner Kaido, King of the Beast. So yeah. Kaido won. It is interesting that Oda, he wrote battle on the rooftop. So there's probably gonna be another fight against Kaido, obviously. So, and it's really cool. This is like the first time that Oda does this, that Luffy doesn't win against the third round, in the third round. So subverting expectations, blah blah blah. Mr. Morge, I don't know if Molly or Leo watches Mr. Morge, But Mr. Morris has been saying for years now that the raid is going to fail. I've been, supporting that theory. But as the chapter's been going on and on, I'm like, I don't see the raid failing now. But now, since Luffy, he lost, basically Morris' theory of the raid failing could happen. And the reason why he wants the raid to fail is because he doesn't believe that there's been like enough tension in Onigashima, enough stakes. Like he thinks that, like, judging by every other arc, the way that Oda has been writing Onigashima so far, doesn't give him that the arc is over anytime soon. So that's why he thinks the raid is gonna fail, and that we're going to have like another fight against the Beast Pirates. So we still don't know if the raid is failing, but at least Luffy lost against Kaido. So let's see what happens next.
2 more acts, baby.
I don't know. That's because always people been saying that if we are going to have that 5-act structure, that Act 4 is going to end with the Kaido flashback, because Act 3. I mean, I meant to say Act 3 is going to end with the Kaido flashback, because Act 3 started with the Oden flashback, and Oda, Oda, he loves to circle things around, and that will be so that will be a nice bookend of the act, right? And I always thought that my theory to support the 5-act structure was that Act 4 was going to be Luffy versus Kaido. Like that's going to be the whole Act 4. Since Luffy lost, I think that still could happen. Act 4 just being Luffy versus Kaido, like a whole act of just them going ham, or maybe not just Luffy versus Kaido, but everyone versus Kaido. Which I still want that. I still want more people versus Kaido, because clearly Kaido he still has gas left in the tank, to fight. But I don't know, we just gotta wait and see. Something to point out, and the panel where Luffy he's on the floor, that sound effect, Oda has used that sound effect before. I don't know if Leo or Molly have seen like theories discussion on Twitter or on Reddit, whatever. But people have been discussing that Oda has used that sound effect when Corazon died. That's the same sound effect he used when Corazon died. So that's what people are saying, that Luffy.
Shit.
So that's what people are saying. Luffy actually did die. He's actually dead, and then we could discuss this more later. But Oda has used that sound effect before for characters dying. So yeah, and then it's interesting right here. Kaido says, "So you're prepared for what happens next?" And then Derpa Scarfino, he just he tips his hat down, and he takes the attack. And the next page, it's a really strong attack. Hopefully he's dead, but we just gotta wait and see. And then his partner, Schoolboy Collins, over here, he does the same thing. He tips his hat, and I think that's the last time we see them. Yeah.
Chat, boys.
Yeah. And then what's that noise? Is that you, Molly, or you, Leo?
Which one?
I don't know. I'm hearing like someone messing with tinfoil.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's God hearing us talk about shit, but no, it's my cat playing with a plastic bag.
Oh,
One second.
okay. But I'll just cut that part.
I thought you were gonna say like it's us theorizing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's us theorizing. But I will just cut this part out, I guess. But so moving on, we see Kawamatsu for the first time for like 31 chapters. So Kawamatsu, he's like not Kawamatsu, random dude. It's like, look out, Kawamatsu, the ceiling's collapsing. And then Kawamatsu, he says that there's enough fire, he cannot put it out. I think Jinbei has shown that he could like get what's it called, water molecules from the air. I think he has done that before. So I guess either it's too dry to do that, or Kawamatsu, he's not like strong enough to do it himself. But people have been theorizing that Sunisha, he's going to what's the word I'm looking for? He's going to use his trunk and like wet Onigashima.
Douse it.
Yeah, to douse it. Yeah, since he does that for Soul, so he could do that for Onigashima. There's another theory that Luffy, he's gonna be the one to do it, but we could get that when we get to the last page of the chapter.
I mean, to be fair,
Mm.
like the water pressure from Sunisha is gonna be like,
Yeah, that's yeah, that's what people are saying that what's his name? Artur, Library O'Hara. He said
uh-huh.
that Sunisha could do that, but like you mentioned, the water pressure is probably gonna be too much for Onigashima, since it's flowing in the air and all that. So we just don't know, but we just gotta wait and see. Then Kaido he shows up. I think this is a double page spread. Yeah, so Kaido he shows up, and he's intimidating. He's saying that Luffy lost. Um, Kid, he doesn't believe it. Law doesn't believe it. Luffy, Otama, just basically everyone saying that they don't believe it. But Nami, she's like, no, there's no way Luffy lost. Of course he's not dead. That's ridiculous. So Nami is like the only one here, like saying that she doesn't believe it. La also mentions that Straw Hat voice has vanished. I don't think this is the voice of all things because every observation hockey user they say the same thing. They always say this, like, oh, this character's voice vanished. So I think that's just observation hockey. I don't think it's the voice of all things, like some people are claiming. Kobe, he said that during the war. It's like, oh, people voices are vanishing. Enoru, he said the same thing. I forgot her name, but the girl from Skypiea, she also said the same thing. So I just don't think it's the voice of all things. What about you? Do you think it's the voice of all things, or it's just?
I mean, unless all those. I mean, from Trafalgar, I would understand because Will of D and all that bullshit. But then we have people like Connie, who's like kind of a nobody. No offense to my girl.
Yeah,
and then we
yeah.
also
So
have Kobe.
Kobe.
Like, had it
So,
only been Law and Luffy saying things like that, I would absolutely believe it. But since it's other people that aren't as relevant, again, sorry for
yeah.
the disrespect on Kobe.
Yeah.
It's sounding a lot like observation hockey rather than
Yeah.
hearing the voice of Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, you're right. If it was just Luffy, Momo, other Will of the users just saying that, Roger, I will be like, yeah, it's probably the voice of all things. But since a bunch of other characters have said it, I just don't think it's the voice of all things. But still, it's something to, I guess, to keep in mind because Law, he is a D, so maybe there's some something to connect
Like
there.
merit
But
to the theory.
yeah, but I just don't see it. The next page, Nami again. She's like yelling at Kaido, "No, you're a liar." And Kaido says, "Well, at least one of you has some moxie." Like, I don't believe you. And then Kaido, he does another breath. What's his name? Marco, he blocks it. I forgot his name. Marco, he blocks it. And then he's like, "Don't lose your composure, not before it's all over." And then Nami's like, she's on the floor. She's like, "Luffy," saying Luffy's name. And then Kaido, he just goes on a rant saying that y'all are my slaves. Not just the men, but the children and women too. He thinks he's Anakin. He's not just the men, but the women and children too. And then the samurais are like, "Oh, not my wife and children. Please spare them." And Kaido, he's like, "You guys decided to do this. This is what happens when you go to war. You lose everything. Like, if you lose, you lose your right for everything." And it's interesting. It's interesting to point this out that Kaido,
and pretty
for
poor
so many,
timing. And pretty poor timing.
Yeah.
but it's interesting to point this out that Kaido, throughout his whole life, he thought he was Joy Boy, but then at one point he realized he's not. And it's interesting that Joy Boy, through the legends that we heard and the theories and all that Joy Boy, he's a figure that he frees the slaves. He's like a deity for the slaves. He's about freedom and all that. And then Kaido, like, at one point he's like, "I'm not Joy Boy." So, and then now Kaido became bitter, and now he's like enslaving people. Like, he doesn't care if you're men or women, old, young, So
yeah, that he
Kaido,
really took it to heart to be like the opposite of it.
Yeah.
Kaido, he became so bitter that now he's like the complete opposite of what Joy Boy's supposed to be. And I heard this really interesting theory that I will mention at the end once we get to the last chapter. But just keep a pen on that, on the whole Kaido Joy Boy thing. But yeah. He's like, bring Momonosuke to me. The battle's not over until I deal with him. So he wants Momo to surrender, or he's going to kill him or whatever. And then a bunch of random gifters, they go trying to attack Kid and Law, but then this random guy from the Heart Pirates and John Bark, they protect their captains, and then now officially this random Kid Pirate crew has done more than he and Wire, and we don't even know this dude's name. So yeah. Wait, there was something I was going to mention. Yeah. This is going to be a little tangent, but before we were talking, I mentioned that I was reading a couple of mangas. I was catching up to date with my mangas and all that. So I was reading Masho. This is going to be part of the video, but I was reading Masho, right? I guess spoilers, but it's not huge. It's just like out of context. So I was reading Masho, and then I realized that Kid, he's more disappointed than I thought as a Magnet user. Like, if Kid fanboys if they want a good Magnet user, go read Masho. This is way more impressive than Kid has ever done in the series. This is a railgun, same thing that Kid did, and this is way more impressive than what Kid was doing against the Big Mom fight. So I just wanted to say that Masho, me reading Masho made me realize that Kid, he's way more disappointed than I thought as a Magnet user.
Damn, just a tangent just to hate on
incredible. A tangent just to hate on Kid. Oh no, wait, there's more. There's more to this tangent. So, me and my brother were discussing Big Mom Pirates versus Beast Pirates, like who's stronger, blah 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 blah. So, I realized that the thing that Kid did to Big Mom, is just what's the word I said? It's just a glorified version of what Robin and Jinbei did in the same arc, like a couple chapters before. So as a refresher, this is the chapter where this is the chapter after that the Straw Hats, they reunite, they do their epic pose, and then in the next chapter, Big Mom, she shows up because she wants to fight Luffy and whatever. So then if I remember correctly, I think Frankie attacks Big Mom. If I remember this correctly, Frankie attacked Big Mom. She think she went out of balance. Then Robin, with her double through, she grabs Big Mom. She pushes, and then Jinbei pushes Big Mom away. I think that was the events. So they push Big Mom out of Onigashima, outside, and they got her out for a little while. So basically, what Kid did is just a glorified version of what Robin and Jinbei and Frankie did a couple of chapters before. That's all I'm saying. Another rant, another tangent for Kid. I don't know if you agree with me that the thing about
I'm
Robin
always down for regularly scheduled Kid bashing.
Yeah. But yeah, that's something that I thought that's just a glorified version of what they did. The Straw Hats, what the Straw Hats did like 10 chapters before. But yeah, of course the Kid fanboys, they probably forgot about that happening, and if you do bring the evidence, they're not going to admit it. Oh, and then also, since when we started believing Father, they're like, you guys defeated Big Mom, since when we started believing Father, the wars of Father characters, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's it. This is a small tangent for Kid. But going back to the chapter, we get an update on Neko and Carrot, and then random samurais, and then Kid and Law. Not Kid. Law, he's capping. Law, he's been capping throughout this whole arc. He's like, this is my last attack. No, wait, this is my last attack. And then now he's standing up. He's like, well, I guess I still have a little bit of gas in the tank. And then Kid, he's like, I'm gonna keep fighting. I'd rather fight than just let them kill me. Which that's okay. That's cool. But they just been capping throughout the whole arc. So I cannot fight, but then they stand up and like, oh, okay, we're going to fight now. And then what's this? Oh yeah, the Yamato and Momo stuff. This is a really interesting moment, like I mentioned before, that throughout these chapters, Momo, he's been downing himself as a leader, and then he thinks that they should surrender, and then Yamato basically like tells Momo that no, you should not surrender. And then all these 20 years will be for nothing. They've been suffering for 20 years, and they rather die fighting than just to give up and to continue the suffering and all that. And there's a really good panel of Yamato and Momo. They're like looking at each other, and then between them you see the struggle that the samurais and the beast fighters they're going through. But at the same time, Kaido, he's wreaking havoc. But yeah, and then the final moments of the chapter, this like I mentioned earlier, the reason why I think Zoro is dead is because Luffy, his eyes are blacked out. And when the character is still alive, the eyes are white. They're unconscious. But in this case, Luffy's and Zoro, they're both their eyes are blacked out. So I just don't know. If they're dead, I don't know how Zoro is going to come back to life.
But we have seen Zoro with blacked out eyes after he took Luffy's pain in Thriller Bark. Like, it was a while ago. But they were blacked out.
I guess I will look it up to confirm. I'm picturing the scene. It's like Nanimo, nothing happened. But I guess you could argue he was that close to death.
Yeah.
That So actually, I heard a theory since you mentioned the Kuma thing. I heard a theory that at that moment Zoro met Death. That's the first time that Zoro meets Death, and then he told Death like, oh no, wait, let me live until I complete my goals for my captain and my goals and all that. And Death was like, okay. And then now here in this fight, Death is like, you died again, so let me get your soul. So that's just like a theory I heard. There's really no evidence for it, but it's still, I guess, it's something nice to think about. Maybe Zoro did die during that Kuma, because Kuma said to Zoro, "I'm going to send you to hell." Like,
yeah.
So maybe he did went to hell, and then he got back, and he made a deal with Death or whatever, and then since he died again, like Death was like, oh well, let me reclaim your soul. But that's just food for thought, I guess. But then
I'm here to talk to you about your life's extended warranty.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically Death. So Sunisha, he's like, Momonosuke, I can hear it. How long has it been? I hear the drums of liberation for the first time in 800 years. He's here. And Momo's like, who is Joy Boy? He has returned. Okay.
The main chorus of the bed.
Let's go.
Yep. Okay. So since I read the scanlations, when Luffy does the grin, there's a translator note saying that the sound effect that they use for grin is Nika. So something called Nika. Yeah. And Nika means
the sun god.
Yeah, but Nika translates to like mischievous grin, like mischievous smile or whatever. And Nico will be like your typical smile. So okay, so what have you guys heard? What theories have you heard? Because I have a bunch, but I want to hear Leo and Molly. I want to what theories have you heard? If you heard any,
I think Leo might have less or none, so you go first because I've heard many.
Wow, a sumptuous much.
So, am I right?
So first off, it's the green thing. I'm not gonna even risk saying the name of it, cause I know YouTube is gonna get on my ass.
Yeah.
So
you're not the only one who's been like not saying Nika. It's like,
do you say with hard R or with the L?
Yeah. I could say, but but go on.
So yeah, it was a connection, but this dude, who's who, the cat dude from CPO.
Yeah, who's who?
Like
CP9, but yeah.
CP9.
Yeah, who's who? He was in CP9.
Oh shit!
If I'm correct,
yeah, that's right.
He was CP9, and then
he wasn't even in the big leagues. Wow.
No, but he was like like he's when Rob Lucci came around, is like who's who, like Rob Lucci is basically the next who's who. That's what they're saying. So that how good he
Right.
was. Yeah, that how good he was.
Um, yeah, it's so yeah, going back to yeah, that's what from what I've heard is that grin is obviously a reference to that part. So it's basically
Yeah.
Oda's stroking himself, like referencing what other characters have said, like, oh, let's put into this context. So
Yeah, yeah.
uh, and with all the with the Malcolm X moment that Jinbei had back then. So
Yeah. When he did the last attack, you could see all the famous black figures behind him, also including Fisher Tiger and all those people. Yeah. but yeah, you're right. This is basically calling back to that moment, the conversation, and then I know you have something else to say about the Devil Fruit, but I guess
yeah, yeah,
but
before
first let's
that, before.
tackle the Joy Boy stuff, and then let's tackle the Devil Fruit stuff.
Okay, but
So,
before that,
uh-huh.
I also want to mention like when this chapter dropped, like I was
Mhm.
so boring like looking at the One Piece topic, because
Man,
like not like
I got spoiled on Monday. Like
Ah,
the
dang,
the spoilers,
like like almost a full week.
Yeah, I like like
I said
I
they
was
were
go
going insane, dude.
I was going to Twitter, and then this one dude posted, you see the final image. One dude posted the final image. I'm like, this is Monday.
What a douchebag.
I'm like, this is Monday, and then I'm like, what? And then everyone was talking about it because everyone got spoiled. So everyone's like, oh, let's talk about the chapter then.
Might as well.
Might as
Oh,
well.
the Persafia gaming of One Piece Twitter.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
but yeah. Actually,
so
I
with
wanted to do a live reaction, but then I got spoiled. I'm like, yeah,
Fight.
I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna do a live reaction. Whatever. But
I
finish
should
your,
have done it.
I guess. But it just, like, you know, but whatever. But finish your thought. Finish your thought.
Like, like, this next thing is it's gonna be more like not fully coherent thought. Like this is
Mhm.
just me like looking at Twitter the day this released. A lot of people made the connection to that like that one indie song, Binks Sake.
Yeah,
Um,
that was
Yeah,
everywhere, dude.
yeah, Ben Sake.
yeah, like referencing the drums of
Yeah,
liberation,
the
Yup.
drums
like
of liberation.
yeah, like
That
and
whole,
and with how Sunisha described the like I hear the drums like
Yeah.
oh you're gonna look it up.
yeah, I'm going to
Oh no.
look. Yeah, Ben Sake. Yeah, because it's really interesting. People been pointing out that Ben Sake is, okay. People been saying, they've been saying for a while that Ben Sake. I don't know if I mentioned this in previous videos, but people been saying that Ben Sake is actually the story of the ancient kingdom, or it's the story of One Piece, basically. And I guess like people been doing this, so I guess we're gonna do it also. Let's sing Ben Sake. Okay, going to deliver Ben
Yes.
Sake. Yeah, but going to deliver Ben Sake, following the sea's breeze, riding on the waves, far across the salty depths, the merry evening sun. So but let's continue. The birds sing as
Oh.
they, uh, uh, the birds sing as they draw circles in the sky. Okay, now this is interesting. Farewell to the harbor, to my old hometown. People been saying that line is referencing the ancient kingdom. That whoever wrote this song is from the ancient kingdom, and they wrote this song for that way future generations will have a big idea of what happened in the ancient kingdom. So farewell to the harbor, to my old hometown. Let's all sing out with a dong as the ship sets sails. Waves of gold and silver dissolve to salty spray. Waves of gold, the city of gold. And silver dissolve to salty spray. We're not sure what the silver means, but at least the
Might be the
gold could be.
foam of the wave.
Yeah, but it
I
could have
mean,
another meaning though.
Yeah.
because
It could just
the
be clouds.
yeah. But people are like waves of gold probably means the golden city, so Skypiea.
I
As well,
mean, yeah, with the circles in the sky,
mm-hmm.
like that's already a hint to it.
Yeah, yeah. So then let's continue. As we all set sail to
And
the
the
end
dawn,
of
sorry. The
yeah,
dawn is also a reference to the bell.
yeah, yeah. As we all set sail to the end of the sea, going to deliver Binks sake, we are pirates sailing through the sea. The waves are our pillows, the ship our roots, flying the proud skull on our flags and our sails. And then now, okay, now this is also important. Now comes a storm to the far off sky. Now the waves are dancing, beat upon the drums. If you lose your nerve, this breath could be your last. But if you just hold on, the morning sun will rise. Okay, this is basically this chapter.
Huh.
So Luffy he lost. Like he lost his breath. This breath could be your last if you lose your nerves. He lost his nerves. This breath was his last. And then the beat upon the drums. The drums of liberation. And then this is also not the first time since we're talking about drums of liberation. This is not the first time. I have a couple bookmarks right here. This is not the first time that Oda has used this sound effect. This is the first time, or I think this is also the only time, that Oda has used the drum sound effect. Specifically the drum of liberation during this scene. And this scene right here is his third favorite panel in the series. In the dance of Skypiea. And also Luffy, he looks like Nika right here. People are saying, the connections, basically all the connections of Nika, Joy Boy, the drums, and blah blah blah. And then let's see what else. Yo ho ho ho, going to the Bisake. Today and tomorrow are dreams through the night. Oh, also wait, I forgot to mention. But if you just hold on, the morning sun will rise. That's obviously the dawn of the new era. That's what the Will D, I guess, basically is. The dawn of the new era.
Dawn.
Yeah, romance dawn. Going to the Urban Sake. Today and tomorrow are dreams through the night. Waving our goodbyes, we'll never meet again. But don't look so down, for tomorrow night the moon will also rise. Okay, the moon. The moon has been very important throughout One Piece. And people are saying that if Luffy's the sun, Zoro's the moon. Yeah. Actually I agree with this because, if Zoro is a Shimosuke, so that means he is the moon because Shimosuke means moon or whatever. So, and that's why I think Zoro is dead. I don't know how he's going to come back, but maybe him through his journey to hell, whatever, he learns about his lineage, and I don't know. I just think he's connected with the moon, since he's probably a Shimosuke. But continuing the lyrics, where was I? The moon. Okay, going to lyric Bensake. Let's all sing it with a dawn, a song of the waves. Doesn't matter who you are, someday you will just be bones. Obviously a Brook reference, since yeah, yo ho ho ho. Never ending, ever wondering, our funny traveling tale. So yeah, laugh tale. So yeah, people have been saying basically that Binsake is like it's way more important than we think, which I think I think I mentioned this, right? Did we talk about this in other videos? I think we did.
I do not recall.
I cannot recall the name.
But if we did, we didn't went this in depth with Binsake. Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of things that are like very interesting. There's like if you read the lyrics, you're like, oh wait, this is referencing
Does
that.
it change in the Viz Media translation? Because I saw there was like an official version.
Yeah, for Viz Media and Funimation.
I don't know. I'm in the wiki. It says English translation. I don't know.
Yeah, but below that.
Go further down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is Viz Media and Funimation. Okay, let's see. Gather up all the crew. It's time to ship out Binks' brew. The wind blows to where who knows. The waves will be our guide. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Or.
Okay.
Or.
Across the ocean's tide, rays of sunshine far and wide. The birds they sing are cheerful things in circles passing by. So this is more like it's like a song, with rhyming word. But bid farewell to Waver's town. So I guess the old town. Say so long to Port Renown. Sing a song, it won't be long before we're casting off, cross the gold and silver waves, changing into water sprays, sailing out on our journey to the end of the sea. Gather up all of the crew, time to ship out Binks brew. Pirates, we'll divide and conquer all the seas, with the waves to rest our heads, ship beneath us as our bed. Hoist high up on the mat, on hoist high up on the mast, our jolly roger flies. I'm not going to continue. It's basically like the same thing, but it's like the same thing, different wording. But something to point out. Oda he wrote the lyrics of Binsake, so it wasn't like someone in the music department of, it was Oda himself. He wrote the lyrics, so that's more credence to that these lyrics are way more important than we think. But I guess I mentioned everything about Misake, about like
before you leave the page,
yeah. Wow.
scroll back up past the ad, like where it says popular pages.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
like there was a section that said popular pages, like on the side. Yeah. There. Like it says Joy Boy story arcs.
Okay.
Down.
So what happened? So Joy
Like
Boy.
Mr. N word.
What happened? Okay. Semi-4. Where did it go?
So I was gonna like make the comparison, like it first cements the connection to that character, which I will not name,
Uh
because
huh.
of
Here
the
it is.
silhouette that they have
Uh
versus
huh.
the silhouette that Luffy has.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when he's dancing on the bonfire of
Yeah. Right
Skypiea,
here.
like they're very similar, honestly.
Yeah. They're. Yeah. People. That yeah. Ever since we got the Nika panel, people been saying that it looks like Luffy. Something that Oda mentioned Jump Festa. Every year he does. He says a message. So he said that pay attention to the main character, Straw Hat Luffy. That's what he said. It's like pay attention to Luffy this year, and he's like, I hope I'm like good enough to draw him, or whatever, and that he can't wait to draw the ending of Wano. The. So people are like, oh, okay, so this is what Oda was talking about this chapter. Pay attention to Luffy. Something's happening with him. I guess Molly, do you have any sense? Do you have any theories? Do you hear any theories about the Joy Boy stuff and all that?
Uh, the most I've heard people lose their shit about is the hat melting along with him.
Uh huh.
But
Well,
that could delve into the fruit theory more so than the Joy Boy thing.
okay, yeah.
But a lot of people have been pointing out that it's really interesting that it's the only seemingly piece of clothing that's melting along with him.
Yeah, from what we could tell, from this angle, yeah.
Or like the first thing to start changing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess before we go to the Darrow food discussion, I guess there's one more thing. I'm pretty sure I have it somewhere around here. It's probably gonna take a while. I have I have a bunch of bookmarks, but yeah, this is gonna be us when we start discussing the Darrow fruit. This is gonna be
Yeah.
us.
To
Yeah,
be fair, I am studying camouflage.
yeah, I know, Leo. Yeah, I know, Leo. I hope you came in ready today to talk about a little bit of
No, I did
chemistry.
not.
Well, alright. So, to finish the Joy Boy Luffy discussion, someone tweeted that people been saying that the Naruto fans and the Bleach fans now they're going after One Piece fans because turns out Luffy he's his reincarnation, Joy Boy, all that jazz. But like the tweet says, we don't even know what Joy Boy is.
Yeah.
We still don't know what Joy Boy is. It could be a title. It could be reincarnation. It could be the Will D. It could be anything. But but
I
but
will say really quick,
Uh-huh.
fuck everyone that's bitching about Luffy being like the chosen one or whatever, as if he's not the son of Garp, the son of Kaido. Sorry, the grandson of Garp and the son of Kaido. Of fucking Kaido? Sorry, dragon. I'm stupid. Same shit, they're both dragons. But either way, fuck them hoes. He's already the grandson of a legendary marine and the son of a legendary revolutionary. He was the chosen one from the start.
good
That
thing
bloodline is already elite.
good thing that you mentioned that because
I'm,
let me.
I'm concerned about you shipping Kaido with Dragon here.
Listen, they just match up. Kaido was
Wait.
part of Rox's crew. Dragon is Rox's son. Don't worry about it. It's fate.
Wait, what do you say? I blanked out for a moment because I'm looking for something. What do you said?
That they're
Don't
meant
worry
to be
about it.
because Kaido was part of Rock's crew and Dragon is the son of Rox. Easy.
But who we shipping? Who we shipping?
Dragon and Kaido.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Like we heard
okay,
her like say it like 2 times,
okay.
like the son of Kaido, the son of Kaido. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool.
Listen, don't worry about it.
Yeah, wait, I'm looking for something. Where is it?
So we're
Basically,
gonna see you go shopping now.
no,
Yeah.
no, but basically, in chapter 1, at the end of the chapter 1, we
He sets
get
out on his legendary adventure. Or something, his destiny.
yeah, the Luffy he's about to set sail on his on the Destiny or whatever. Like this is gonna be
Yeah.
the story of Destiny. Luffy's
Exactly. Like, shut
yeah.
the fuck up. We were told since chapter 1.
I mean, like my worry here is like, well, I shouldn't worry because Oda's is a good author. Like aside of being a good mangaka, like he's a good author. Like first and foremost,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like he's like besides being a good drawer, like he's a good author. Cause my worry is that it's a possession kind of thing, like
That'd be
and
very
stops
funny
Ah,
though.
being
no, no,
Luffy.
no. I eat
And I
that.
would hate.
No,
I
no,
would hate it if it was that.
no, I eat that. We're gonna talk about that. Wait, but let me look for the page. It's like the last page.
How long was this chapter?
No,
I don't remember it being this long.
every chapter is like 50. Like every first chapter. Okay. Luffy's tiny boat floats on. His crew yet to be found. Luffy's great voyage of destiny has begun.
Exactly. Like,
So,
shut the fuck up.
so ever since chapter 1, Oda been saying that this journey is about destiny and all that. Now what? Okay, but some people are saying that yeah, okay, they're fine with this being destiny, it's destiny and all that. But some people just don't like him being the reincarnation of Joe Boy. They will prefer if it's just a title and that Luffy, because
So what if he's the fucking reincarnation?
it,
His genetics are already stacked.
Naruto PTSD. That's what they're
Naruto PTSD.
Naruto PTSD. That's what people are. That's what people are not. That's what people are not happy.
Huh.
I'm okay. The reason why I'm okay with him being reincarnation and destiny, all that jazz, is because Oda been saying it since chapter 1. Unlike Naruto, which I found out that Kishimoto he admitted that he didn't plan Naruto. Like he was winging it. Like at the end he was just winging it. So unlike Naruto, that at the end we learned Naruto and Sasuke didn't ring. I guess spoilers for Naruto. Leo, like I guess if you care and whoever's
Okay,
listening,
so
yeah, that
Oh, wow.
like at the end we find out that Naruto and Sasuke they're the reincarnation of the moon and sun and blah blah blah, aliens and a bunch of jazz, a bunch of like Kishimoto just went crazy with the ending of Naruto.
I mean,
And
to
then
be
also,
fair, like
uh-huh.
I gotta respect Kishimoto here because like he's winging it, just like how he lived my life. Like I gotta respect that.
Yeah.
but and then since Naruto he turns out he's destined to be this god or whatever, this reincarnation of a god. It basically spits in the face of what Naruto was, the themes of Naruto, that it was hard work and all that jazz. But in the One Piece case, Luffy is still Luffy. It just
Yeah.
it
Luffy
just
was never meant to be like a fucking underdog like Naruto. It's not about hard work or determination. It's about him becoming the Pirate King.
Oh yeah, of
yeah.
course.
And then since there's another chapter, another page. I don't know what chapter it is, but Wood Slap. If you don't remember Wood Slap, he's like the mayor from Luffy's village. So Wood Slap, he was they were talking about Luffy. Luffy just got his first bounty, if I'm correct. And then they were like, oh, Luffy got his first bounty. That's cool. And then Wood Slap, he's like, oh, why are you sharing Now pirate came from this village or whatever. But then he's like, well, that lineage, his family, they are like, there are troublemakers, him referring to
Yeah.
Dragon. But then they mentioned, oh, now Luffy. I think one of them mentioned, I think Makino, the bartender. She's like, oh, now
Mhm.
Luffy, he's like closer to his goal, to his dream. And then Woodslap is like his dream or his destiny, you know.
Yeah.
Woodslap, but like, what does Woodslap know? Does he knows more? That means the eye. I don't think so. I think
Yeah,
it was
Temple has theories. I just think he's really rooting for him.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's just all the by curiously talking to Woodslap.
yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
him. You know, but
Like
yeah.
speaking of the concept of destiny, like it
Uh-huh.
worries me a bit, cause like of course like destiny is of course a central theme of One Piece, but like Luffy doesn't seem like the type of character that follows destiny. Like instead
You
he makes
were warned since
his.
chapter 1.
Wait a minute, let me explain myself. He's the one that forges destiny. He makes destiny his bitch. Like he's the force that causes destiny.
The
That's how I
false
always view.
illusion of choice. Is he really forging his destiny, or does he think he's forging his destiny?
I don't know what he thinks. It's what I think.
Valid.
We discussed we we discussed this before. I don't know if you guys remember that we were talking about this whole Destiny thing, and then I don't know if Leo was there, but I know I was talking to Molly about this, and then I told at the end of the day, Luffy's not going to care, about him being the
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
he's not going to care
yeah,
about being the
It was
chosen
like,
one.
oh, cool, I'm Joy Boy. Who gives a shit? We're still One Piece. That's it. That's all that's gonna happen.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
yeah,
know who the Joy Boy guy is. Don't really care. Doesn't matter. See ya.
yeah, yeah, you know. So yeah, at the end of the day, Luffy he's not going to care,
Yeah.
but still. Now here's my thoughts. I think. Well, I guess this ties to the Fruit discussion. So I guess give me your thoughts about the Fruit, and then I'll give my thoughts about the Fruit as well. So Leo,
Latex.
uh, yeah, but Leo, we did
Kinky.
talk. Yeah, we did talk about this briefly
I have a
through
question.
text. Uh-huh.
I have a question. Like,
Uh-huh.
and it's been like on the back of my mind ever since I've been reading One Piece.
Okay.
Like, Luffy's power has always been called the rubber fruit, the rubber
Mhm.
ability. Like, he's
The
been a rubber
gum,
man.
the gum or gum gum. Uh-huh.
Yeah, like he's a rubber band man. So, uh, does rubber exist in the One Piece universe? Because rubber, like in real life, it's a very
Of
modern
course it does.
invention.
Usopp Slingshot.
Yeah. What's up?
Oh,
What's
okay.
up? Yeah.
I
And
mean,
what's up?
I mean, I don't know. Like, it could have been like from the trees or whatever.
I mean, fair
But
Like,
enough, but
but actually,
there's signs point to yes.
there's a
yeah.
theory Leo is onto something that people been theorizing about that one YouTuber I follow, Randy Troy, he mentioned that he thinks, okay, well, Leo mentioned your thing about the tree sap, for that way I could talk about the Randy Troy thing.
So, like first off, I'm not against the theory. It's just like it personally irks me because I think I was the original. Well, when in reality, no, I'm not. Like there's this theory about Luffy's devil fruit not being actually rubber. Like and it's ties with the whole world government saying that this dude hit the name of his
He's a
devil
lying
fruit.
bitch.
like like in this case, instead of being in an actual rubber, it's actually resin. Like as in tree resin.
Mm.
Which it's pretty interesting. Like should I keep talking or do you want to take it over from here, Chris?
So since you mentioned Molly, I don't know if you
Mhm.
remember, but this was years ago. But I always talk about this. I don't know, in high school. You, me, Yampi, and whoever went to the conversation, we always talked about what Luffy could potentially do in the future. And I always
Mhm.
brought up the idea that would be cool. Also, keep in mind, this was before Gear 4 even was a thing. So I remember, like, I vividly remember you, me, Yampi, and like I don't know who else was there, but we were talking about, oh, it would be cool if Luffy, like he does like he has a new gear, and the new gear that he uses heat to melt himself, and that he becomes like a liquid rubber.
Liquid. Yup.
Yeah. So like ever since high school, I've been saying that, like, oh, it'd be cool if Luffy does that. But then we got Gear 4, so I'm like, okay. So although he went a different route, and then when we got Katakuri, I'm like, okay. So although he's not going to do this, he's never going to give Luffy liquid rubber abilities or whatever. But now we got this chapter. I'm like, well, I should have started YouTube a long time ago, and I should I should just get made my little theory, and then now I'll be like, I said it, I called it, but you probably don't remember, but I do. I remember. I'm pretty sure we were in the Urban, we were talking about about Luffy and all that, and but yeah, I've been saying this since high school, basically. That Luffy, he's going to have liquid abilities. I wasn't saying that he was going to be Resin or Sap or whatever, but I was close. I was pretty much close. But yeah, now since Leo he mentioned the Resin theory, let me finish my thought about Randy Troy. So Randy Troy, he mentioned, he also brought out the Resin theory, and the reason why he thinks is Resin is because basically what Leo and other people have been saying, that resin is liquid. We see him being liquefied. Resin could be hardened. Rubber comes from resin, and then rubber comes the resin comes from the rubber tree, which is in Brazil. Luffy although said that he will be Brazilian.
Oh, we're reaching.
Yeah, we're reaching, but hey, it's connected. And then Randy Troy, he came up with this theory that the reason why the world government they're afraid of this devil fruit is because it's probably the first devil fruit. Like, because fruits comes from tree, resin also comes from tree. So he's like, maybe the first devil fruit is like this resin fruit. And then it's like, it's the first devil fruit. Son got Nika, he probably had the fruit. Joy Boy probably had the fruit. And then so they're afraid, the world government is afraid that whoever gets this fruit will be the next Joy Boy. Pretty much. So by association, And then and also Randy Troy mentioned that in real life, there's been mass genocide for rubber, and like in the Congo. So maybe although we'll tie that into the story with the ancient kingdom and all that, because of the stuff, there was like mass genocide. So, and that's what the world government they're hiding. So, and although he loves to incorporate real life history with One Piece, so maybe he will somehow, some way incorporate the Congo stuff with the rubber, with Luffy, and people been saying that Luffy, he's not the reincarnation of Joy Boy, but maybe that Joy Boy, his spirit or his will is inside the devil fruit. Now this is another theory. Like, this ties to another theory that every devil fruit has like a spirit, the will, a devil. Every devil fruit has something connected, like, about the previous user. So for example, there's evidence to this. So for example, when Sabo he got the Mera, he mentions that Ace was talking to him. He brings up that the scene that people have been posting is I don't know what chapter is. I didn't look it up, but basically Sabo, he was going to attack someone. I'm guessing Burgess by the context, but he was going to attack someone, and he's like, I was going to spare you, but Sabo told me that you don't deserve that. I mean, not Sabo. Ace told me that you don't deserve that. So that's like one evidence, or like that's like the key evidence that there's like spirits or like will of the previous user is in the fruit. And then there's also that other I guess now I just thought about the combination, the CP9 talking about the other fruits, that if you eat more than one fruit, the devils they fight and then you blow up. So this is also another old theory of mine. I also been saying that maybe there's devils inside the devil fruits. And then me and my brother, we always joke around that we've been joking that throughout the Luffy fight, there's gonna be a point where Luffy he's like at his lowest, and then he gets defeated by Kaido. Also, this little theory that I'm saying right now is way before this chapter. So that Luffy's at his lowest and he loses the fight, and then I don't know where Luffy he's like in his mind or whatever, and then there's gonna be like this demon, and he's gonna be like Kaisuku, and then he just starts laughing, because the demon is like taunting Luffy, like, oh, you think you're gonna be Pirate King, and then my brother he hates the idea because he hates this whole main characters having demons and all that. But I love that. I eat that up.
Understandable.
I eat that up. Black Clover, Jujutsu,
Yeah.
Bleach. That's typical Shonen 101. That's like
I mean,
So
for me, it depends. Like how it's
If it's going
executed.
well, yep.
yeah. But I eat that up regardless. I don't know. I just love it. So people have been saying that maybe in the next couple of chapters, Molly, Bleach, so you know what I'm going to say. So in the next couple of chapters, there's basically going to be White Ichigo or Hollow Ichigo. This is basically going to be like Hollow Ichigo versus versus Ukiura. You know what I'm
I
talking
would
about.
love that just because of how mad people would be.
Yeah, I know people are gonna be mad, but I'm going to eat that up. I'm telling my brother now. I've been saying to him, prepare yourself. Next couple of chapters, Kaido, Luffy as Joy Boy, he's going to go up to Kaido. Kaido, he's going to attack him with the club, and then Luffy as Joy Boy blocks the attack like it was nothing, and then Joy Boy just goes ham on Kaido, and we just going to see Joy Boy do these crazy techniques that Luffy has never done before.
That'd be very funny because Luffy would be pissed.
Yeah, personally, that's why I'm against it. Cause like, it should be Luffy beating Kaido,
I
not
feel like
Joy Boy.
Luffy would absolutely hate being possessed.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. But people are saying that another reason why they think it's going to happen is because this Wano has been the reverse of every other arc. So like the reverse Thriller arc, the inverse. I mean to say inverse, the inverse Thriller arc, the inverse. Like there's a bunch of other arcs that Wano has been taking inspiration and all that. So and do you remember in Thriller arc, Luffy won Nightmare Luffy. And in that case, Luffy had full control of his body. But in this case will be the inverse. That Luffy will not have control of his body. And people are saying that, Joy Boy is not going to win. Maybe Joy Boy is going to tuffle Kaido, he's going to ruffle Kaido up a bit. And then Luffy gains control because that's, Shonen 101. Every time when the main character transforms to this new technique that he hasn't used before, he goes back to normal, like right at the end of the fight. Like, like Ichigo, for example, Ichigo versus Byakuya. Ichigo goes hollow. Hollow Ichigo does some stuff, but then Ichigo forcefully goes back because he's like, "This is my fight." He's like, "No, this is my fight. You're not going to come out and help me out." And then,
I don't think this would work too well with Luffy unless it's Luffy hearing Joy Boy's voice and Joy Boy's like, "Oh, I can lend you my strength if you give me your body or whatever the fuck," and Luffy's like, "No, fuck you," and just completely ignores him. Like, we get confirmation that Joy Boy's spirit might be inside the fruit, but Luffy still ignores him. I would be okay with that. Because I really think he'd be a man that would be completely against that type of possession. And I don't know. I just don't think possession will work with Luffy unless it's something like lighthearted like that.
100% agree.
Yeah, I agree, but I think it's going to happen. Because Joe Boy, he's probably from, his spirit is probably in the fruit. That's going to happen, and the reason, and then other people are saying that during this fight, Joy Boy, he's going to show off what the fruit actually does, and then after the fight, let's say Elbaf, if we go to Elbaf, whoever Luffy's fighting in Elbaf, he's gonna be like, you know what, let me do that thing that Joy Boy did. Let me try that. And then Luffy, he's like basically learning from zero again how to use his fruit, because he's like,
work. But only if Joy Boy is like a little voice inside his head being like, "Oh, if you try this, maybe it'll work," or "If you try this, this is something I did 800 years ago. Give it a shot." If he's just like a little voice inside his head, that would be sick. Because it's still accomplishments, but with coaching.
I see. I could see that going. I could see that happening.
Yeah, like like I
Like
wouldn't
that
mind
feels
too
like a
much.
good happy medium.
Like I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind too much if Joy Boy here was gonna act like Navi, Fee
Yeah,
from Legend of Zelda, like, but like
just
full on
Mhm.
possession, like,
a
like I
handy
don't
dandy
know.
tutorial would be nice. Luffy ignoring the voice would also be very fun. Full on to possession, I'm a little iffy on.
Yeah,
Mm.
like I'm against possession, but like I'm just like if it is possession, like I will see how old it spends it, like, cause
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
And I
I'm
guess,
against it until I see it executed.
mhm. I guess another evidence for being possession or like is Joy Boy on the wheel, not Luffy, is that Sunisha says that he hears the drum of liberation. Why he didn't say that when he met Luffy and all the way back in Zo, is because it was Luffy, it wasn't Joy Boy. So now since oh yeah, I did mention this that I was going to bring up a theory about Kaido and Joy Boy and all that. So, and this ties to what I'm saying about the whole possession thing. So people been theorizing that what if to become Joy Boy you have to die, you have to like kill yourself, or you have to die in battle, or whatever. And then that's why Kaido he wants to die. That's why he wants to die in battle. That's why he wants to kill himself, because he knows that to become Joy Boy, you have to die. And then Luffy, we assume that he's dead. And then since Wano has close ties to Joy Boy, at least we assume because of what Kaido has said and other stuff and other theories, maybe to become Joy Boy you have to like die in Wano, or like you have to be near Wano or whatever. And since Luffy he was a Joy Boy candidate, that's why he became Joy Boy. That's why Joy Boy activated. I heard that,
Alright.
and I'm like, oh, that's really cool because Kaido, something that he said on the rooftop is death completes a person. He believes that death
Mm.
completes a person. And then since he always wants to kill himself, Joy Boy came out when Luffy supposedly died. So maybe that's how you become Joy Boy. You have to die. And
Okay,
I thought
here's a reach though.
okay.
Maybe what they mean by Drums of Liberation is that it's that you die, but you literally just fucking say no to it.
What do you mean? Explain yourself.
Okay, I'm gonna be I'm 13 and this is deep for a second. Think of death as a prison.
As a present?
Okay? As a
Okay.
prison. A
Prison.
jail
Okay.
as a
cell.
jail, as
Okay.
a
Okay.
birdcage.
Yeah. Think of it as a prison. And then the drums of liberation is just your heart beating against it. Just literally going against death. Out of sheer fucking spite.
Actually, since you mentioned that, um, there's the Japanese, like the people who speak Japanese, all that, they've been mentioning that the drum of liberation sound effect is like a heartbeat. It's like a heartbeat sound effect. So, but they're not saying that it's like a person. They're saying that, oh, Joe Boy, that's his heart. That's him coming back.
It
Or
could just
it's,
be a person coming back from the brink of death or just from death. Como tal.
yeah, that was the other thing I
Yeah.
was going to say. That it's either Joy Boy. People are saying it's either Joy Boy that's like his heartbeat, or that's just Luffy coming back to life. And so Nisha, he's like, oh, that's the drums of liberation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there was something I was gonna say, but then I
It
forgot.
could be like,
Uh-huh.
like talking about Luffy being brought back to life, like that might be what makes someone a Joy Boy in the first place, like coming back to life after a harsh battle like that. Like
Okay.
Absolutely.
that's why Sunisha didn't recognize Luffy as Joy Boy, because
That's
that
because
didn't
he hadn't died.
happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
You mentioning that. Now I remember what the thing I was going to say. So the other theory is that the way to become Joy Boy is that, let's say you're a Will D user. Every member of the D clan, they die smiling, right? So the other
Yeah.
theory is that to become Joy Boy, you have to be a Will D user, and that when you die, you don't die smiling. And look at Luffy right now; he's frowning.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's frowning, and then he comes back to life. And Joy Boy will be like, "Oh, you're the one, you're the candidate." And interesting, Blackbeard, he's the only Willow D user that we have seen that he hasn't smiled when he was about to die, because Whitebeard was about to kill him, whatever, and he was actually he was begging for his life. He was so and then and so I guess it's interesting because I did mention in the video that what if Blackbeard is actually Joy Boy, or he's
I
a Joy
mean,
Boy
there's a
candidate.
potential for there to be multiple Joy Boys.
Yeah, because if it's a title,
Joy Boy and
so
Joy Boy Violence.
yeah, Joy Boy Violence. It's interesting. We're talking about Joy Boy and all that. It's interesting that you, Molly, you haven't mentioned your crack theory about Joy Boy being the strongest.
Oh, I'm just sitting on that until I'm proven right.
I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised that there's two characters on her tier list now. Like a character appears in two spots now.
Let's go.
Yeah. When before, like preparing for this video and all that, I'm like, I know Molly. She's going to mention.
I've been staying quiet about it. I've been behaving, but I've been thinking about it.
Yeah,
like I mentioned it to my partner when they said that Luffy might be Joy Boy. I was like, I was onto something with my tier list. I was onto something.
Yeah, you were.
If y'all want to know more about that tier list, go check the link in the description.
Yeah, go go check the link. It's a WoW ride, but going
I
back.
Might be right.
Yeah, going back to the Dolphin discussion.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I have a crack theory.
Go on.
So we have rubber, we have latex going around, we have tree sap. What if it's nylon?
Nylon.
Yeah.
Okay, another plastic. Okay.
Balloons can also be made from nylon. When they're melted, they also become, really hot. It's another, characteristic of it. But you know how Luffy's clothing always stretched to him?
Yeah.
Nylon fabric. They attach to the fabric, and that's how they stretch with them. Another thing. Rubber, if you pull it apart enough, it loses its shape. Nylon does not have that quality. Like, no matter how far you stretch it, it will not lose the shape. It will always revert. Meanwhile, you can expand a balloon far enough that, it expands. Same with latex and all of that stuff. Like in rubber bands, there comes to a point where it either gets to the point where it breaks or it comes back out of shape. Okay. Once more, nylon does not have that. And we've seen Luffy stretch to 1,000%, and he stays the same. He's never, floppy or anything. If anything, we've seen him shrink, but that was from the heat.
Yeah, okay. No,
that's my theory.
The reason why he shrank, the way that I saw it is because he deflated like a balloon, basically.
Yeah, but at that point, it would might maybe. Yes, that's my sentence. I'm sticking with it. Might have lost the shape there.
And a counter to your his clothing stretching, I'm pretty sure I brought this up before that Oda has mentioned in the SBS that the clothing that the fruit user wear, they get the properties of the fruit. That's like his way to explain why his clothing doesn't burn up.
I think you mentioned this before.
Yeah. That
it's a cover up.
It could be, but because someone did ask Oda, "Hey Oda, why, why Ace clothes they don't burn off?" And then Oda he was like, well, the the clothing, the things that they wear, they get the devil fruit properties, and that's basically his way to be like, because realistically speaking, it will burn off, but he cannot draw that, so.
But that might just be applicable to fruits that would destroy their clothing.
Well, the way that he said, it's like every fruit that every fruit that has, the thing that you mentioned, basically every fruit that
cover story.
For example, Luffy, like I mentioned that. What you said?
Cover story.
Big Oda doesn't want you to know the truth. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. But still, you were onto something. But I'm like, Oda this playing that. Oda is playing that. Someone did ask Oda, "Hey Oda, how long does Luffy stretch?" And Oda, he's like, like 1,000 gomu. he straight up said like he gave up a fake measurement, but
you love it.
Yeah.
My point stands. I stand by nylon.
No, but it's interesting though. I just remember you talking about the nylon and all that. I
I mean, to
remember
be
that.
fair, like adding
Mhm.
to the nylon theory, like,
Yeah.
hi, here's the thing, like, there's different types of nylon to begin with. Like, there's nylon 6, there's actually nylon 66. Like, those are like the two more commercially available ones.
Did
Mhm.
you just
Like,
look it up right now?
no, like this is
Yeah,
from
yeah.
back when I took an organic chemistry class
Chemistry.
that
Okay, okay.
briefly mentioned polymers. Uh, like those are the two commercially usable ones. I'm guessing like because of their numbering. I guess seeing like experimentally wise, there has been more nylon to begin with,
Yeah,
technically,
yeah,
like quote
yeah,
unquote.
yeah. Mhm.
Uh, so like it could be like a mix of all types of nylon, like
Mhm.
the different like characteristic capabilities.
Yeah.
It could be specific to one nylon. Like it could be like instead of being like nylon itself, it could be like a polymer based double fruitability,
Mhm.
like not just based just solely on rubber. Like it could be like other plastics as well. Like
Mhm.
who knows?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, because polymer like it's more of a it covers more. It's more
Mhm.
of an umbrella term to just rubber.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and also like if it's actually polymer, like it would be pretty interesting because it wouldn't just only limit to like plastics. It could also limit to like life molecules, like
Mm.
DNA itself, RNA, like things that are important to life. Like
Let's go.
so who knows? Like it could be nylon, it could be polymer.
I like your words, funny science man.
Okay,
I
that's
mean
interesting.
you're
That's
I mean, are
interesting.
you studying psychologists? Like, is that's a science, right?
Yeah, in theory.
I say that's a science until like a psychologist says some wacky shit that's contradicts science. But anyway,
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
that's
either way.
uh,
interesting. That's interesting. I never
so
heard the. No one has mentioned the nylon or
Let's go.
No, no one, no
so
one. At least in my like in YouTube, I haven't heard nothing about that. But
I
you guys
I want
talking
to
about.
mention about the
Uh huh.
I want to mention the screenshot,
Yeah.
and I hate the idea that Luffy might be sticky.
Yeah, because you guys were mentioning all that, and then I remember that there's more evidence to Luffy being resin than just than him melting all that. So the oldest second fairy scene in the series is this moment where Papagu is explaining to the Straw Hats about how the mangroves work in Savoli, and as he in the I don't have the other pages, but as Papagu continues explaining about the mangroves, he mentions that it's natural, that this is like all this is natural. Luffy's like, oh, okay, so that's cool. All this is naturally made, and then someone that asked Oda, is Luffy, um, um, if is Luffy natural or like what's the word, like fake
Synthetic?
rubber?
Artificial.
Yes, yeah, artificial rubber. And Oda answered that Luffy, he's natural rubber. So, that leads more to him actually being resin than rubber, because the rubber comes from resin and all that. And this is all the second fairy scene in the whole series. Like why this random moment?
It says so right
Yeah.
there because it lends his world a feeling of realism. Can't you read?
Oh, I didn't read the I didn't read the because this lets with his world feeling really. Yeah, yeah, but still, that's just yeah, author they wrote that. But
I'm curious about what's the other like what's the Oda's all time favorite scene.
it's on this one.
Oh, the drawing
Uh,
of Wana.
Now,
It's
uh,
all coming together.
yeah,
yeah.
because people been saying that the all the he like the reason why he gave these because this came out of nowhere. Although they didn't need to give us his three favorite scenes, but people been saying that okay, these three scenes, it was all just foreshadowing the chapter, the Sanganika, the Resin, and Wano. Like him, like he's basically saying Luffy's durability, him being Nico, all that is we going to learn that in Wano. And then the other thing I think I still have it here. Where is it now? Oh, it's right here. And then people been pointing out that ever since the chapter dropped, that although he's a madman, he's a mad lad, and he actually foreshadowed this in this chapter in chapter 1039. So as you can see, there's a monkey.
Okay, not too long ago. Okay.
Yeah, not too long ago. And there's a monkey, and he's pointing at like what we could see as resin. And Luffy, he's like looking at
Funny.
it, and you know,
Funny monkey.
I'm gonna fuel your tinfoil addiction. I'll
yeah,
sponsor tinfoil for you.
yeah, you know, it's a stretch, but still, you know, like yeah,
Oh, just like wrestling. Okay.
yeah, just like resin. And then you know, he's a monkey. He you know, Luffy, he's Monkey D. He's pointing at it. He's looking at Luffy. You know, like
Yeah. The monkey has a crown. A reference
yeah.
to the character of Wukong from Journey to the West, from
And,
famous Chinese famous
but
Chinese work.
uh huh. And now, since you mentioned that, here's my
Oh my god!
since you brought up some Wukong. Um, yeah,
Pretty
we
pretty relevant character trait to use in manga, like Monkey D.
uh huh.
Luffy,
Monkey
Son
D.
Goku.
Luffy, Son
Uh,
Goku.
the monkey which has a very peculiar character trait in Toriko, which
Yeah,
I don't want to
Monkey.
spoil for the uninitiated.
But no, I'm gonna say Monkey King Bambino. Let's go, peak fiction
Yeah,
right
no,
there.
yeah, but I don't want to mention this character trait,
Uh huh.
this
Yeah.
unusual character trait.
Yep. His very only his.
So,
It's only his.
what were you gonna say about Song
Right, yeah,
Wukong?
he was on
Okay.
the train.
Okay. So, you heard the wrestling. You heard the wrestling for. Actually, no. Wait. Before I go with this, uh, before I go with
Moving
this, before I go with this idea, have you heard the theory that it's actually oil that Luffy he actually ate the oil fruit? What do you think
Yeah,
about that?
I've seen it be like, okay, nylon is based on petroleum, so I can also see that. I think rubber as well. Not rubber. What's the other one? Latex.
No, I heard that rubber comes from oil, like some
Also,
type of rubber. Yeah,
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 like most of them
Yes.
are connected to that.
yeah. And also,
So I
oil
can see where you're going.
If
oil is flammable. I heard apparently
Uh,
oil.
if it if
It
it's
does.
oil, I'm gonna be mad.
Why you also you also have a idea for oil?
Oh my god, my god. Luffy here is just giving pain, headaches about puzzle of originality.
Yeah.
But
But I,
like it not only could be oil, like you mentioning petroleum, but like it could be wider than that. Like it doesn't have to be like specifically oil itself. Like it could be just like anything that does not dissolve in water. It could be
Oh,
like
that'd be
different type,
insane.
like any non-miscible fluid or object, like like of course oil. Like there's also cooking oil. Like there's also earwax, and I don't know. I'm blanking out. Like there's a lot
You're
of
valid though, because when we see this colored, if we haven't had the reveal yet, it's gonna come down to the proper colors. If the band stays red or if it turns to black. Because it could be yellow and black, and that's oil.
I mean, like, I'm not like no me estoy dando llevar. I'm not using that as a point of measurement of reference, cause like when it comes to hair colors in One Piece, like it's the most wackiest shit
Oh no, not
ever.
hair, hat.
I mean,
Hikito hat.
it could be both. Like it could be a Jotaro situation here.
You know what? Fair enough. Good point. Fantastic point, even. But that would be
Like,
wild. Oil would be insane.
Yeah. And
like,
since,
like, also
look,
like, sorry to like, I want to shove this in real quick since you mentioned Sun Wukong. It gave me it gave me the very brief idea of Luffy potentially being a nuclear reactor. Because you know,
Hell yeah, let's go.
like since we're just throwing darts onto a wall, like let's just say like what's a sun. Like, it's a star, obviously. Well, what's so special about it? It's a nuclear reactor.
Of course,
So
of course.
so here, like, Luffy might be just be like potentially like a reactor.
I'll sponsor some tinfoil for you as well.
Like who knows? And what's special about a nuclear reactor is capable of nuclear fission and fusion. It could create through internal reactions, bombarding using particles to bombard other nuclei. Like I know I'm going very deep into the science, but like it could create other elements, and by extension, create other molecules, and therefore create other different types of matter. So who knows?
Insane.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
So
That's of the fucking century.
So like Luffy might not just be a rubber man, the
Luffy
rubber
is
band
Chernobyl confirmed.
man. Like Luffy himself could be like a walking nuclear meltdown waiting to happen, or it could be like he's not just rubber itself. He could be matter.
Oh shit!
Actually, since that's another crazy theory, but that I heard. But let's finish the oil talk. So, Leo, you mentioned water, and Emu, and then reverse is water. So, if Luffy is oil, so Luffy will be the counter to Emu and all that jazz. If Emu just has the water fruit, which people theorizing that he has the water fruit.
Wait, is it confirmed that Emu's a guy?
We don't know. But,
okay.
Yeah. But
for the sake.
Yeah. But but Leo, you mentioned the matter. There's another crazy theory that I heard. This theory was before this chapter, like way before. It was during the chapter where I think during the chapter where Goro said was like we haven't heard that they were in ages, blah blah blah. That chapter. So people been theorizing, it could be Luffy, and Luffy he actually ate the imagination fruit, or the matter or the matter fruit, or the molecule fruit. All that crazy jazz. So people, I guess in a roundabout way, people been saying that Luffy he ate this like crazy matter manipulation or whatever type they were fruit. Now, but the thing No.
I mean, since you mentioned molecules, like, isn't there like a DC character named Molecule Man that's very OP?
Molecule.
Or is it Marvel?
I will confirm. Give me a second.
Yeah, confirm.
Oh no, like y'all know more about comics than me.
Well, sounds familiar. Molecule Man. I know Adam. I know the Atom.
No, but it's not Black Adam nor the
No,
Atom.
no. So. Molecule Man sounds familiar. I don't know. But
I can't blame you. Like, there's also a calendar, man. I know that's for sure.
The answer is yes. DC does in fact have some. Marvel.
Marvel. Okay.
Was that the voice of in my head?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. But okay. Now, but now let me say my
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Like.
Yeah. Now,
like the stage is yours.
Yeah. So this is not. Like I've been thinking about it. It'd be cool if Luffy has blank this type of devil fruit. But because of this and because of other stuff, people were saying maybe he does has he has this type of devil fruit. So let me set the stage for you. Okay. So the Momo Tower legend. They basically the backbone of Wano. Wano is based after this legend. So every character in One Piece that is based after the Momo Tower legend, they all have one thing in common, and that is they have a mythical Soen type devil fruit. Okay. So you might be questioning, who are the Momo Tower characters in One Piece? Well, obviously Momo, of course. Momo, Yamato, she's the dog. Marco, he's the pheasant. Kaido, he's the only king, and of course Luffy, he's the monkey. Now, between all of them, Luffy he's the only one that doesn't have a soul in there fruit, right? But ever since ever since the chapter, that, oh, what if ever since that chapter where the girls say we're talking about this devil fruit, people been saying, also actually way before that chapter actually, but because of that chapter, people been pushing this agenda more, that Luffy he actually ate a mythical Soin, and that mythical Soin could either be the Sun Wukong fruit,
Huh?
or either either he ate the Sun Wukong
What?
fruit, or or he ate the, I have it right here, the Hanuman fruit, which Hanuman, he's a Hindu god, basically, like he's like a monkey god, and from what I read and from what I heard, Hanuman, Luffy, like all Luffy's abilities, Hanuman he has all those abilities as well, and
The
Hanuman he's
thing
also
is,
go on.
I can't tell you to go fuck yourself. Because we've seen Goku with the fucking Buddha fruit.
Yeah, Sengoku has the bullet fruit. The
So
yeah.
we see that people adjacent things can be fruits.
Yeah, Chopper he ate the human fruit. So
And
yeah.
Buddha, I can't say that you're insane with good conscience.
Luffy, yeah. Also, Luffy, he's okay. One Piece is obviously very inspired by the Journey of the West. Like basically, in every other modern shonen, like Dragon Ball, and One Piece, and so on and so forth.
And some Toriko.
Yeah, of course, also Toriko. That's peak fiction. So, and Luffy, he's obviously very Sun Wukong esque, And someone broke this down. Shout out to Ohara, not Library Ohara, but Ohara the Fox, Manu.
Okay.
So, Manu he has been saying that Luffy he ate the Sun Wukong fruit, and he has a bunch of evidence, like story wise, theme wise, and I guess now because of what's happening, basically to sum up his theory, One Piece is very inspired by Journey to the West. Like Luffy, he's from the east. He goes to the west to find the One Piece, to find this treasure. Their fruits are based after this like these fruits from the Journey of the West. And the Sun Wukong, throughout his journey, he meets friends and all that. And then at one point, he meets Buddha. Buddha humbles him, and basically, Sun Wukong he has this training arc, and Luffy he meets Buddha. He gets humbled. Marineford happens. He has his training arc. Luffy he acts like Sun Wukong. He has like it just everything's like connected to this. And now people, you might be asking, well, Sun Wukong he doesn't have stretching abilities, but Oda he could have some Oda's probably using some creative liberties. It's like maybe Oda he combined the Sun Wukong staff, with the Sun Wukong fruit. Like he combined the both things, and that's why Luffy could stretch. Sun Wukong he could shapeshift. Sun Wukong he could shapeshift into animals. All the Luffy's like Gear 4 of attack, like named after animals. And Luffy, he could also shapeshift, technically, into Gear 4. So, like, the theory is that Luffy, he's, like, been subconsciously tapping into the Soin elements of the ability. He just doesn't know. He's not fully aware, And then the other deity is Hanuman, which, like I mentioned, Hanuman, he's more, like, all his abilities are, like, Luffy's abilities, like the stretching, the steam, blah, all that stuff from what I heard. And also Hanuman in mythology, he's friend with what is that elephant deity from Hindu? What's his
I do not know the name.
Sunisha.
I'm afraid to take a guess.
Sunisha's
Are you
name.
talking about isn't it
Like Leo, you told me that Sunisha is named after the deity.
Sanisha?
Something like that. So they're friends. And,
Ganesha.
Checking.
And Joy Boy
Ganesha
and
or Ganesha.
Yeah.
Ganesha, yeah, I think it's Ganesha.
Ganesha. So in the mythology, Hindu mythology, Hanuman and Ganesha they're friends, and here Joy Boy and Sunisha they're companions, they're friends, and Hanuman if I'm correct, his father is a wind god, dragon. There's theories that dragon uses he had wind through, and then so on and so forth. So I think it would be really cool if all this time Luffy he ate a Soin, he just hasn't realized it, and now because of this awakening and all that, he's realizing that, you know what, I actually ate and now I'm even more broken than I was before. And then and this is for all all the theories that Leo mentioned, Molly, and that I'm mentioning now. I don't care what devil fruit he is, what devil fruit he has, you know. I just think it's really cool that for 1,043 chapters, all he's like, oh, you thought it was rubber, nah, turns out it's actually something else. And Luffy basically has been nerfing himself throughout the whole series, and then now, it's just really cool that now Luffy, he's actually gonna go use his full potential, whatever that is. But it's really cool. I think it's really cool, the Son Wukong thing.
I want to
Also,
laugh at you so bad, but I
Uh-huh.
can't. I
Oh.
physically cannot.
Also, personally, I just want Luffy to be stronger than Naruto, and if he has the Son Wukong ability, or like a mythical sword, that's just game set and match. Like
That'd be
Luffy, like
Hold
Luffy
your
with,
horses.
like Luffy with his conquerors and all that. Like he's already there.
That'd
He
be
could tank.
hilarious.
Like he
I
could tank.
love the sheer spite of that.
Like Luffy with the conqueror clothing, everything that he currently has, he could tangle with Naruto, right? But he cannot win. But if he has a Son Wukong through, it's game set match. Game set match. Like Naruto cannot do anything. Like I just don't
I'm
see
on
it. But
board out of sheer pettiness.
yeah. Ichigo on the other hand, nah, there's no touching Ichigo. Like Ichigo, he's he's dimensional level. It's like nah, there's no
Of
touching
course.
that. Yeah.
I want to mention
Uh-huh.
like since we're mentioning Journey to the West, we're mentioning I don't know, man, which is the central character, well, one of the central characters of the Ramayana, which is a Hindu epic. Like if we're going, like if we were to do a university course on One Piece, like like all the pre-reading material, like to fully
Yeah,
understand it, like that it will rival this book, Ulysses by James Joyce. Like you need to understand Shakespeare works, Odyssey, a couple
you are
other crap.
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is some insane shit. Not
Like,
gonna
the
lie.
first month alone would be catching up on all the reading material you need to know, and then the rest of it would be the actual, like, meat of it.
Yeah.
Leo, since you
So
mentioned, but finish your thoughts. Finish your thoughts.
so yeah, Chris, get on to reading the Journey to the West and Ramayana.
Easy.
But since you mentioned that, there's actually this YouTube video that I watched years ago. It's like 5 hours long, and
Wait a minute, is it something about the lore of One Piece, something like that?
yeah, it's basically this one guy. He has a YouTube series that he gets his friends, and each of them they get a topic, and they explain a topic that the other friends they don't know. So, for example, this video, the guy, he's a One Piece fan, so he decided to explain One Piece to his friends, and like I think before he even talked about the story, he had to explain hockey. He had to explain, like, I think the Will D. He had to explain like a bunch of stuff before he even talk about chapter 1.
It's
So-
really funny.
So since you mentioned that, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like that one video that the dude, I think he won like an hour explaining everything that you need to know before you even start One Piece.
Like I'm
before-
legitimately convinced. Like if one were to do like a PhD in literature,
Mhm.
like in an adjacent field or something like that,
yeah.
like one could legitimately make a thesis on One Piece.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
related to
easily.
One Piece.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this before, that there's been book YouTubers that they've been getting into One Piece, and recently I binge watched Daniel Green, his journey with One Piece, and he said in one video, which actually I saw this video on Twitter, like on context, but basically in one video he mentions that I think it was like halfway through the story, and he's like, One Piece is like, it's basically what's that genre? What's Lord of the Rings epic, yeah, a fantasy epic. like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and all the other series, fantasy series, that One Piece is basically a fantasy epic. But since it's in the manga medium, the book people they don't talk about it because since it's a manga medium, it's not a novel medium, and that
Yeah,
he
because
thinks,
because
uh-huh,
it's not seen as the same like as in the
yeah,
Literature?
same light of it.
yeah, yeah, and he thinks that it should not be that way. That the people who read novels and all that, they should have One Piece into this in that discussion because he thinks it rivals like Tolkien. No, sorry about that. That it rivals Tolkien and
Those are fighting words for a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
and he says in the video that yeah, people will not admit it, but he was like halfway through the story. He was in the time skip, and he's like, like what he has read so far, it rivals the world building of like Tolkien and these other like greats that people mention of the epic fantasy genre. I'm like, yeah, that's really interesting. Murphy, Murphy Napier. I don't think she has said the same thing, but she has said that yeah, One Piece does rivals these epics. They should be in that conversation. So it's really cool that these book YouTubers, they're realizing that manga, as a medium could rival novels and all that. So yeah, it's really
I
cool.
just love it that I started looking her name up, and one of the cool suggestions was One Piece.
But yeah. I forgot to. I was going to send you in the group chat the in Discord her One Piece journey, but I guess but yeah, she's up to date. Yeah, she's up to date
Yeah.
and
I
now
actually
she's
wanted to since you brought this up, like it actually
mhm.
brings like it's much deeper into this because like since we're mentioning like how One Piece rivals, like how they say like rivals other classic works,
Yeah,
like it actually brings to light the whole problem of like graphic novels, comics, manga, like not being seen in the same light as other literary works, which I say it's BS. Like the writing, it like not including like the art, like the writing itself that Oda has been doing, like and how he constructs the plot, like just taking Wano for example, like there's so many moving parts to the plot in Onigashima,
yeah,
like
yeah,
that rivals like many authors, like most
yeah,
authors.
yeah.
Also, actually, kind of interesting because
Mhm,
like I'm like I've been taking an appreciation of art course,
mhm.
and you know how like there's a thing called about the muses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about this.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, how they represent like the different art forms. So
yeah.
one of the modern views of the muses is that like is so far like there's nine or ten forms of art itself, like which you could categorize at least the classical arts.
Mhm,
So literature originally being called poems was became into literature, but the interesting thing is comics got its own spot. Like it's I think it's the ninth art,
mm.
seventh being cinematography.
Interesting. Okay,
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, which I think it's got its own spot because it mixes visual arts, graphic
Yeah.
arts,
Uh.
with literature, and
Yeah.
it's a unique mix of those two, which allows for a different mode of expression in comparison with those other two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, me and
Okay.
my little tangents. So
No, no,
we're gonna mention.
well, that's interesting. I don't know if you want like this is just a brief thing about I guess we're done with the Luffy stuff, right? But I guess that's
I
you know
believe so, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I mentioned the we mentioned
Like
resin.
anything else is gonna be torture. Like
Yeah.
because we're not gonna know until like next Friday.
Uh
So
huh.
Yep.
Yep. But I guess to
like
summarize,
for the audience, like we're recording this on I think it's already Friday, so
Yeah, but the chapter comes out next Friday. So
Yeah.
so yeah.
Isn't there a break?
Yeah, this week there's a break this week.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So the chapter comes out next week, which I guess to end this off, let's summarize and then predictions. So I guess for the next chapter. So I guess to summarize, I guess this important part about the Luffy and all that. So we mentioned resin, oil, nylon. What's the other thing? Matter,
Nuclear
nuclear
reaction.
nuclear reaction, Sun Wukong, Hanuman. Actually, the other thing, like another mythical stone, is the Joy Boy fruit, or
Of course.
or the Nika fruit, which I don't know what that
Yeah,
could mean.
because Joy Boy is an actual mythical figure in Caribbean mythology. Yeah.
Yep, and yeah, you're right, in Caribbean mythology, and the same thing as this Joy Boy.
Represent.
He the same thing as this Joy Boy. That Joy Boy brings laughter with drums and music and all that. So yeah, Caribbean and Haitian, I think, yeah, like specifically Haitian mythology, but or the Nika no Mi, which I don't know what that means. I don't know, but
The Grin fruit.
the
Oh,
ac-
now that I'm reading it. Sorry,
Actually,
because to go back
uh-huh.
to it, I did not know that Joy Boy was the Caribbean spirit of the drum.
yeah. Actually, Randy Troy pointed this out a while ago. That's the first time I heard about the Joy Boy thing. So yeah. So I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that Joy Boy was like a actual mythical figure in our world. And then who mentioned Grin fruit? Was it Leo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned the N word, so the Grin
Actually,
fruit.
yeah, actually, I don't know if Molly remembers this, but I know like years ago, we did fake devil fruits, and one of my fruits was the laugh fruit. So, if it turns out to be the Grin fruit, well, I guess that was another thing I was kind of right adjacent. Like, oh well, yeah.
Man, you should start doing a reporting of theories, because like,
Yeah.
so you can have the proof to back it up.
Yeah, but those years ago, so I'm like, if I started YouTube like back then I will be looking back at those videos and be like, ha, I called it. But yeah, but
Yeah. So start doing those
uh,
bits now, so you can so when laughter rolls around, like you can say like, "Ha, I call that."
I call that. But and then the Luffy being Joy Boy. Well, we mentioned reincarnation. We mentioned Joy Boy, his spirit, his will is in the fruit, or that is just a title, and Joy Boy, Luffy's the next Joy Boy, and that either he died and he came back, or like Joy Boy's possessing him or whatever, and Joy Boy now he's on the wheel, like he's controlling Luffy, and maybe he's going to fight Kaido as Joy Boy or whatever. And I guess that's our right. That's all we said about the Luffy and Joy Boy thing. Yeah. So my predictions for next chapter is that we're not going to see this for a while. Because I really want to see Kaido just wrecking house. I really want to see him baby shake a bunch of people. And I don't know if you guys remember, but the Nine Shadows. We haven't seen the Nine Shadows of Toki's prophecy. That still haven't come into play. So I think in the next couple chapters, Kaido, he's gonna be defeating people like he's gonna be lowering down the numbers until there's 9 people left, and those 9 people are gonna be the 9 shadows. And maybe Luffy is including those 9 shadows, or maybe not, because if you remember, in Skypiea, Ano, he had his little game that he predicted that 5 people are gonna be left standing, and he was kind of right. There were five people going up against him at the end, but he failed to take it. He failed to like he didn't realize Luffy was still there. So maybe in this situation it's gonna be the same thing. There's gonna be 9 shadows and 9 including Luffy, and they fight against Kaido, and then Luffy comes and Luffy wins at the end. That I guess that's my prediction. I don't know if you guys have any, or if you disagree with what I'm saying. But what do you guys think?
So my prediction, at least, like the next chapter is gonna be called something like along the lines of the return of Joy Boy. Joy Boy awakens, and we just and and at most we're just gonna see one panel of it.
Okay.
I'm in the same vein. I think that we're not gonna see anything about it.
Like Oda's gonna be like it's gonna be holding up the catnip in front of us, like he's gonna be torturing us. Like I'm pretty sure, like he could potentially do an actual reveal like 3 weeks from now if he wants to torture us.
I think so.
Like,
I agree. It's not gonna be an immediate payoff.
yeah, I know. It's gonna be very delayed, or it
Yeah.
could be like for the next break, like when the next break is scheduled, like that last chapter, we get to see more of a slightly bit more of Joey Boy.
So basically, this is gonna be the next chapter. Like this is gonna be Joy Boy.
Yep.
Joy Boy after I'm back. This is gonna be
In
him.
like 3 chapters, that's gonna be him.
Yeah. And what do you?
We could put the Luffy face of the Joey Boy Luffy face over.
Oh
over
yeah,
the
yeah, we could. But you mentioned something about Joy Boy and all that. That it reminded me of something that Oda also said that the next time we see Nika, Oda he's going to reveal his face. And
Oh shit!
that technically this is
Yeah?
if Joy Boy is Nika, well, this is technically the next time this is the next time we see him. So
Yeah?
so I guess that's the that's all. That's the video.
Just
I had
that, like we covered so little.
yeah, but yeah, I guess that's our thoughts. That's right. You guys have nothing else to say, right?
Not particularly.
Okay.
Only thing I want to ask is just say like, go watch Evangelion.
Okay. Go watch them again. Okay. So yeah, that's the video. Leave a like if you liked it. Dislike if you don't. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Leave a comment. Leaving your thoughts about the video, and we will see you next time.